Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. 1 skill point per second, I turn the fireball into a forbidden spell. Chapter 1. Parallel World, Blue Star. The playground of Zhongcheng Number 2 Middle School is crowded with people. Today is the day for the senior students of Number 2 Middle School to awaken their profession. It is also the oath-taking ceremony for the National Professional College Entrance Examination. Countless students wearing No. 2 middle school uniforms lined up in classes, and behind them were countless media and journalists carrying cameras to record this important scene. Class 8 of Senior 3, all soldiers. Stand up. Swear with me. At the front of the queue, a spirited young man suddenly stood up, picked up the microphone, and shouted hoarsely. From today on, I will become a member of Daxia Professionals. I will work hard and level up bravely. I have a share in the revival of the human race. Perhaps he was too strong, and at the end of a series of oaths, he even began to vomit. The school leaders on the stage took the lead in applauding. Countless media and journalists also gave applause and praise. This is the spirit they want. In the queue of Class 8 of Senior 3, a handsome boy almost laughed out loud. His name is Lin Yi, and it has been 18 years since he traveled to this world. This is a world that has been invaded by countless games. The territory of the entire world has expanded more than 10 times compared to the Earth where Lin Yi lived in his previous life. And the humans in this world are not the race at the top of the food chain in the true sense of the entire blue star. In a large number of unknown areas, there are a large number of unknown and terrifying monsters and beasts, which threaten the civilization of the human race at all times. In such an environment, everyone is like chicken blood, thinking about improving themselves all the time. In addition to preparing for war, there is still preparation for war. Fortunately, humans have also received the gift of the blue star heaven. Everyone has a chance to awaken skills after they become adults at the age of 18. Getting combat skills means successfully transferring to a main combat profession. Later, they will become the vanguard of the human race against monsters and beasts. The identity and status are much higher than those who have awakened auxiliary and life skills. You can still laugh, I'm so nervous. A tall and strong boy next to Lin Yi poked Lin Yi's lower back and said with sweat on his forehead. Why are you so nervous? Isn't it just awakening a profession? Lin Yi didn't care and remained calm. The tall man was named Zhang Shan, a good friend of Lin Yi. Maybe his parents had too high expectations. Although he was tall and strong, he was far less calm and free than Lin Yi at this time. You have been the first in the whole grade for the past 3 years, so of course you are not nervous. I just want to be a warrior and inherit my father's legacy. He also has a full set of equipment and skill books, and even saved 5 skill point scrolls for me to use. It's time to explode gold coins, old thing. Lin Yi laughed, he was really a filial son. With the end of the oath-taking ceremony, the awakening ceremony of the professional players of Zhongcheng Number 2 Middle School officially began. The process of the ceremony is very simple. The person whose name is called walks up to the stage and touches the huge light blue spirit crystal stone suspended in the center of the stage to obtain the first skill. At the same time, according to the skills obtained, the corresponding professional characteristics are awakened. Zhao Quan, obtain the skill Fishing, life-related professional fisherman. Kai Kun, obtain the skill Singing, life-related professional idol. Zhang Chengliang, obtain the skill Forging, life-related professional blacksmith. As one after another came up to the stage to awaken their professions. The teachers who announced the awakening results on the stage read out the cold skills and professions one by one, and many people in the audience became nervous like Zhang Shan. In fact, the teachers of Zhongcheng Number 2 Middle School were also very dissatisfied. They were talking in a low voice. Why are the students this year so poorly qualified? More than 10 minutes have passed, and there is not a single one who has awakened combat skills. Zhang Ya, come up and awaken your profession. The teacher who sang the lyrics on the stage called another name. The next moment, everyone in Class 8 of Senior 3 cast their eyes on a girl with a cold temperament at the front of the queue. Zhang Ya, come on. Standing at the front of the line of Class 8, Hu Kai, the monitor of Class 8, who had just shouted at the top of his lungs and even broke his voice, showed a self-proclaimed warm smile and encouraged Zhang Ya. who knew that his licking was not in place. Because at this moment, the latter did not even look at him. Instead, he looked up at another teenager at the back of the team. Lin Yi felt Zhang Ya's slightly provocative gaze and felt helpless. It's just that in the past 3 years, he has been suppressed by himself. As for the resentment, he still provoked himself when awakening his profession. Zhang Ya is the class flower of Class 8 and the school flower of Zhongcheng No. 2 Middle School. This look is incredible. In an instant, everyone once again focused their attention on Lin Yi. After all, one is the first in the grade and the other is the second in the grade. This is too much. What profession these two people will awaken is also a matter of constant discussion and discussion by countless people. Zhang Ya took a deep look at Lin Yi, then walked onto the stage with her long legs and reached out to touch the blue spirit crystal. The next moment, the blue spirit crystal trembled a few times, emitting a violent wave of magic power. The next moment, a series of strange phenomena appeared in the entire playground. I saw countless sand and stones, which began to defy gravity and gradually float into the air. It even keeps rotating in a mysterious trajectory. The eyes of the old principal on the stage shone brightly. Before the lyrics teacher could speak, he announced the result of this awakening. Zhang Ya, awakening skill, telepathy control. Combat profession, telepathy master. Wow, the whole place was in an uproar instantly. Stuck. The reporters who were waiting behind were a little impatient and pressed the shutter frantically to record this historic moment. Mentalist, a rare profession. This profession can use mental power to control objects and attack enemies, and it can also use extremely terrifying telekinesis to completely destroy the enemy's mental defenses. Zhang Ya, the cold-faced school beauty, even showed a smile after confirming that she got such an extremely rare career. Lin Yi, come up and awaken your profession. With the shock of Zhang Ya before. This time, everyone once again focused their attention on Lin Yi. Being second in grade is a rare occupation. The first in the grade must have a legendary profession. As for the higher level epic profession, they don't dare to think about it. The pressure was on Lin Yi. Zhang Shan's hands couldn't stop shaking. But the good brother was about to face the most important challenge in his life, and he still gave his blessing. Come on, you can do it, have an epic career. Lin Yi strode onto the stage. It is actually impossible to say that I am not nervous. In this environment, with the attention and expectations of so many people. Even though he has been a man for 2 generations, Lin Yi, who has already been in an easygoing mood, still feels a little anxious. Reach out and touch the blue spiritual crystal. A cold touch came over me. The next moment, a faint wave of magic power came from the spiritual crystal. The old principal on the side raised his eyebrows with some expectation. Who knew that this wave of magic power would not continue to strengthen the moment it appeared? That's all. Finally, he hid his disappointment and reluctantly announced, Lin Yi, awakening skill, fireball, combat profession, mage. Mage, the most common mage, although it is a combat profession, with Zhang Ya's pearls in front, plus the countless halos on Lin Yi's head before. This result is undoubtedly disappointing to most people. Stuck. The shutter sound kept ringing. Lin Yi stayed on the stage. It's not because he is dissatisfied with the skills and profession he has awakened. But at the same time, he heard another voice in his head. Congratulations, you have awakened the SSS level talent, gift of the gods. Effect. You gain 1 skill point every second. Note, as your experience and strength increase, this talent will gradually unlock more functions, so stay tuned. What? Get 1 skill point in 1 second. This cheat is a bit too much. Lin Yi was a little confused at the moment. Because according to what he learned in the textbook, most of the skills of all professionals in this world are acquired in their original form. Even if you are a master-level master of the 5th and 6th transformations. When you get a new skill, this skill is only a small skill of the 1st level. You need to brush dungeons, do tasks, or earn skill points through various natural treasures or adventures. And the efficiency of obtaining skill points is extremely low. At least before the 3rd transformation, most difficult dungeons can only get single-digit skill points in 1 trip. As for ordinary dungeons, sorry, there are no skill points in the clearance rewards. So for the professionals in this world, the level of skills is, to a large extent, the most intuitive reflection of their combat power. My skill level is higher, even if my level is lower than yours, I can easily defeat the strong with the weak. This is also why most professionals in this world are liver emperors. Because if you want to improve the strength of your skills, you have to work hard. And what about Lin Yi? He simply calculated in his mind. He doesn't need to do anything. No need to brush dungeons, no need to do tasks. He can get 86,400 skill points by hanging up for a day. What the hell is this concept? This means that after Lin Yi gets a new skill, it is very likely that he will only need one day to increase this skill to the top level, or even the full level. Lin Yi's confusion and shock, in the eyes of others. It has become unbelievable and a huge psychological gap. The most feared thing is comparison. With Zhang Ya, a rare level profession leading the way, plus the expectations and waiting of so many people, this is the ending. They even began to worry whether Lin Yi would not be able to withstand this loss and difference. Zhang Shan clenched his fists in the audience. After the initial shock, he felt even more distressed for his good brother. In his opinion, even if Lin Yi could not awaken a rare level profession, at least it should be a rare profession, right? Who knows, he is just an ordinary mage. Even the first skill he got was Fireball. The characteristics of the mage profession are very obvious. That is, a violent damage profession with large range and high output. But there are also many disadvantages. The reading time is long and the body is fragile. So most mage professionals, at the beginning, the best skill they get is actually Frost Arrow. Because ice skills have deceleration and control, it is convenient for mages to kite level up. Although the fire mage has higher damage, it needs too much protection. There is almost no ability to level up alone. Student Lin Yi, I think you don't need to be so disappointed, it's already very good. The mage profession is also promising, and there is still a long way to go in the future. Don't be bothered by the temporary gap. The old principal on the stage forced a smile, patted Lin Yi on the shoulder, and advised earnestly. At the same time, countless people and those media people in the audience all talked about it. Hey, he's the top student in the grade, but he's just an ordinary profession in the end. Hee, I like to watch this kind of plot of genius falling. I've disliked that guy for a long time. He's so handsome and has good grades, and he's so arrogant. He must be frustrated now. Look at his expression. He must not be able to bear the blow. He's going to be like everyone else. You're talking nonsense. You're talking as if you can definitely awaken a combat profession. Maybe you're not as good as A. Zhang Shan also started to quarrel with the classmates who were making sarcastic remarks around him. He stiffened his neck and blushed. Zhang Ya in the crowd looked at Lin Yi on the stage, and a trace of regret appeared in her eyes. She didn't say anything sarcastic. She didn't look down on Lin Yi just because he awakened an ordinary profession. She knew this man too well. 3 years of deskmates, 3 years of opponents. Zhang Ya had extremely complicated feelings for Lin Yi. She had to admit that at this moment, she finally beat Lin Yi once, but why did she still feel so disappointed? Lin Yi was also stunned by the old principal's comfort. When did I feel depressed? Can't you see that I am so excited now? Ah, it's better to be low-key. No, I can't stay here any longer. Lin Yi is afraid that he will laugh out loud. With this talent, he actually has a crazy plan in his mind. According to the knowledge learned from the book, the skill levels of all professionals are divided into 9 levels. Above the 9th level is the ultimate form of the skills of each profession. Taking the mage as an example, the 9th level skill is the forbidden spell. What is above the forbidden spell, Lin Yi doesn't know. But he has a small goal, which is to add his fireball spell to the forbidden spell first. The skill points required to upgrade from the 1st level to the 9th level are in the millions. For most professionals, it may take hundreds of years, or even a lifetime. But for Lin Yi, it is just a matter of more than 10 days. Lin Yi did not participate in the second half of the awakening ceremony. Anyway, everyone thinks he is now jaded. Then I'll just pretend. It's great to finish class early. Lin Yi left school and returned home. It was Lin Yi's father, Lin Guodong, who opened the door. How is it? What profession did you awaken? Your mother bought a table of delicious food for you to come home today. Lin Guodong looked at his son with a smile. Although he was just an ordinary life professional, he was also the hardest working and lowest ranking miner among life professionals. But he was proud to have a son like Lin Yi. Lin Yi's mother Xu Qingfang saw the door open and came out, looking at Lin Yi expectantly. Lin Yi, mage. Lin Guodong and Xu Qingfang looked at each other and saw surprise on each other's faces. Not bad, not bad. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect that my Lin family would have a combat profession. Mage is good, high output, no worries about employment. Come on, wash your hands and eat. The family of 3 had a very happy dinner. Lin Guodong even took out the old wine he had collected for many years and drank a few more sips. He even poured a glass for Lin Yi. After all, he was an adult and could drink. Lin Yi didn't want to spoil his father's mood, so he could only drink a little. Time was like flowing water, and 7 days passed in the blink of an eye. During these 7 days, Lin Yi didn't go anywhere. He just played games at home and browsed his phone. His life was extremely comfortable. After awakening the profession, the theoretical classes and related practical classes in the school have been suspended. For all the new professionals in Daxia, after awakening the profession, it is actually equivalent to graduating from high school. The next month is the time for everyone to work overtime to upgrade their skills. 1 month later, it will be Daxia's annual National Professional College Entrance Examination. Passing the college entrance examination and getting into a better professional university will be of great benefit to your future life. During these 7 days, other students probably worked hard and got more than 10 skill points at most, right? I don't know how many times I am ahead of them. Knock, knock. As he was thinking this, there was a knock on the door. Lin Yi stood up and opened the door. He saw Zhang Shan standing outside the door with a box in his arms. Seeing Lin Yi open the door, Zhang Shan walked in breathlessly and put down the things in his arms. There was a very dull knock. "Hey, I didn't see you in the leveling area, nor in the dungeon entrance. What happened to you? Isn't it just that I awakened an ordinary profession? Does it make you so depressed?" As Zhang Shan said this, he wiped his sweat, opened the box, and took out everything inside. "These are the leveling potions and red and blue potions that my old man bought for me. The blue potion is useless to me, so I'll give it all to you. I'll give you half of the red potion, too. In addition, there are 3 skill point scrolls in here. You can get 3 skill points by crushing them. You can use them as you like. By the way, I'd like to inform you that your brother finally awakened a rare level profession, the Knight of Light. Since you've been copying my homework and helping me cheat for the past 3 years, can I help you level up? I'll pull monsters, and you'll output. I can handle it without a nurse. We'll share the experience equally, so don't continue to be emo at home." Looking at what Zhang Shan brought and listening to what Zhang Shan said, Lin Yi felt warm in his heart. This is a true brother. Zhang Shan's family background is not very strong. Although his father is a combat professional, he is also the most ordinary one. These 3 skill point scrolls, I guess this kid also gave half to himself. Really willing. Lin Yi took out the skill point scroll from the box and stuffed it back into Zhang Shan's hand, laughing and scolding, "Who the hell told you that I'm emo? And you can use these skill point scrolls yourself, I don't want them. I'm not giving up and not leveling up, I'm just holding back." Lin Yi spent more than 10 minutes persuading Zhang Shan, who was half believing and half doubting, to leave. Who knew that just as Zhang Shan left, the door of his house was knocked again. Opening the door, Lin Yi saw another guy in a courier uniform holding a box, smiling and asking, "Is this Lin Yi's home?" "There's your delivery, Lin Yi. I didn't buy anything." The guy continued, "It's for you, the sender is Zhang Ya." Zhang Ya's usually cold and a little arrogant face had already appeared in Lin Yi's mind. Opening the box, Lin Yi also saw a box full of high-level alchemy potions and high-level mana and blood recovery potions. The most important thing is that Lin Yi even saw more than a dozen experience bonus scrolls. Each of these scrolls is estimated to cost hundreds of Daxia coins. She is indeed a rich woman. What Lin Yi didn't know was that Zhang Ya had been struggling for 7 days over this matter. She even planned to go to Lin Yi's house and say something when she saw him leaving school sadly on the first day. But the reserve of the eldest lady and the cold personality she has always maintained made her unable to lose face. In the end, although she didn't show up, her heart was still there. Lin Yi gladly accepted the box of things. The friendship between classmates in these 3 years seems to be much deeper than the desire to compare. After sending the courier away, Lin Yi opened the box, but saw a piece of paper under the bottles of mixtures and potions. It seemed that the person who put this paper didn't want Lin Yi to see it at all. Lin Yi took out the paper, turned to the back, and saw a line of beautiful small words. "Don't be too sad, if you need anything, find me." Only one sentence. But Lin Yi could imagine how many times Zhang Ya had to scribbled and reorganized her words before finally writing this sentence. Lin Yi counted and put away the things Zhang Shan and Zhang Ya had given him, then opened his own panel. Lin Yi. Profession. Mage first transfer. Specialization. Fire. Level. LV.1 0.00%. Health. 10 out of 10. Mana. 100 100ths. Strength. 1. Agility. 1. Spirit. 10. Constitution. 1. Endurance. 1. Talent. Gift of the Gods SSS. Allocated attribute points. 0. Allocated skill points. 602,163. Professional skills. Energy saving casting passive fast chanting passive fireball active. Looking at his skill point balance of more than 600,000, Lin Yi took a deep breath. The skill points accumulated in these 7 days are too terrifying. Nothing more to say. Deep blue, add points. Lin Yi opened the skill panel of Fireball and started to add points like crazy. Ding 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 ding. Lin Yi kept hearing the prompt sound of successful skill upgrade, and the fireball in the panel kept flashing the upgraded brilliance. The flames became more and more blazing, and it also emitted golden streams. Cool, so cool. This feeling of adding points to skills at the speed of light, like riding a rocket, is really the most wonderful experience in the world. Consume 500 skill points, your fireball is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Pyroblast. Consume 2000 skill points, your Pyroblast is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Triple Flame Lance. Consume 5000 skill points, your Triple Flame Lance is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Flame Storm. Consume 10,000 skill points, your Flame Storm has been upgraded, and you have obtained a new spell, Blazing Light Wheel. Consume 50,000 skill points, your Blazing Wheel of Light has been upgraded, and you have obtained a new spell, Molten Balrog. Consumption of 100,000 skill points, your Molten Flame Demon has been upgraded, and you have obtained a new spell, Sky Flame Dragon Breath. More than 10 minutes later. As Lin Yi continued to add points. The skills in his skill panel interface are also different from what they used to be. The Fireball technique, which was originally mediocre, now has more than 100,000 skill points invested in it. It has advanced to level 7. The whole room was scorching hot. Lin Yi felt an unprecedented blazing heat wave sweeping through his body. All limbs and bones seemed to be bathed in the most terrifying and blazing golden flames in the world. But these flames will not hurt him at all. Instead, he felt that he already had an extremely terrifying affinity with the fire element in this world. He just has to give orders. These most brutal and destructive elements will burst out together, burning his enemies into ashes. Lin Yi checked what the next advanced spell was. Level 8 Fire Spirit Incarnation. Advanced skill points required, 500,000. Lin Yi was stunned. The skill points consumed for subsequent upgrades were almost astronomical. No wonder Lin Yi heard that only the super old masters of rank 7 or 8 and above in the world could use spells close to the level of forbidden spells. Without such a long period of time, it would be difficult to accumulate such a large amount of skill points. And Lin Yi, in just 1 week, had almost completed the journey that the Supreme Mage took throughout his life. Lin Yi thought for a moment and turned his attention to the other 2 skills. Energy Saving Spellcasting and Quick Chant. These 2 skills were awakened by the way when I obtained the basic mage active skill of Fireball. The effect is also very simple. That is, it can reduce his spell casting consumption and chanting time by 10%. Can you add some points to these 2 skills? Lin Yi has noticed that the high-level spells he has mastered have a characteristic. That is, while the power is extremely terrifying, the skill consumption is also very large. The chanting time is also very long. Take the 7th level spell Sky Flame Dragon Breath that Lin Yi just obtained as an example. Sky Flame Dragon Breath. Type: Active Skill. Level: 7th level. Section: Fire System. Consumption: 30,000 mana. Chanting time: 20 seconds. Cooling time: 2 hours. Effect: Summon the scorching dragon's breath from the sky, ignite all targets within the dragon's breath range, cause a lot of fire damage, and add long-term dragon flame burning damage. Note: wherever it passes, it will be scorched earth. This 7th level spell, once released, consumes 30,000 mana points. It also requires an extra long chant of 20 seconds. Lin Yi now has only 100 mana points, and can't even use this high-level skill. So Lin Yi focused on his 2 passive skills, especially energy-saving casting. I hope this skill can bring surprises to me after it is upgraded. At least it can let me cast high-level spells. Lin Yi switched the skill points to energy-saving casting, and then, just like adding points to Fireball before, he started to add points like crazy. The reminder sound of ding 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 was endless. More than 10 minutes later, Lin Yi received the reminder of the last skill upgrade again. Consume 100,000 skill points, your super mana surge is upgraded, and you get a new passive skill, Mana Storm. Lin Yi also consumed more than 100,000 skill points to upgrade the small skill energy saving casting to level 7. Of course, its name is now more domineering. Mana Storm. Type: Passive Skill. Level: 7. Section: General System. Effect 1. The mana consumption of all spells you cast is reduced by 70%. Effect 2. The mana limit you get from all sources is increased by 7 times, and you recover 7% of your maximum mana per second. Effect 3. Every 8 hours, you have a chance to cast any spell below level 9 for free. The current number of times it can be effective is 1 time, and the maximum number of stacking times is 3 times. Note: I am the approaching storm. Hiss. Lin Yi took a breath of cold air. God passive. And it just solved his urgent need. All skills have a 70% reduction in mana consumption, which means that his endurance is stronger. The consumption of a Sky Flame Dragon Breath has been reduced from 30,000 to 9,000. Although it is still very high, it is by no means out of reach. More importantly, he has 3 free spells every day. In this way, he will not be unable to use key skills because of lack of mana. Cool. Lin Yi did not stop and continued to focus on the last remaining passive skill, Quick Chanting. Another crazy point increase lasting more than 10 minutes. Lin Yi was a little tired. Although this crazy experience of improving his skills was wonderful and exciting. But it was really boring. All he needed to do was keep clicking. Lin Yi's hands were sore. If other professionals knew about Lin Yi's troubles, they would probably be angry to death. They all worked hard to brush the dungeon for a day and earned dozens or hundreds of skill points. Think about it carefully and consider how to improve your skills with the best cost effectiveness and the greatest benefits. Lin Yi was fine, anyway, he just added it without thinking. Soon, another 7th level skill was freshly released. Divine Grace Chanting. Type: Passive Skill. Level: 7th level. Section: General System. Effect 1. When you cast a spell below level 5, the spell becomes instant, and the chanting time of spells above level 5 is shortened by 70%. Effect 2. Your chanting will not be interrupted by any interruption, silence, or magic band skills below level 7. Effect 3. Every 8 hours, you have a chance to instantly cast any spell below level 9, currently effective number of times, 1, maximum stacking number is 3 times. Note: Divine Blessing, God's Word Singing. Here it comes. Instant cast spells are here. Lin Yi had expected that his 2 passive skills would be very exaggerated after upgrading. But he didn't expect it to be so exaggerated. And they also cooperate with each other. No consumption casting plus instant cast. This is our exciting combination skill. If Lin Yi wants to now, he can even instantly cast a level 7 Sky Flame Dragon Breath on the spot. Although Lin Yi has not tested the power of this skill, he has a hunch. This level 7 fire system big move is bombarded. Maybe most of Zhongcheng will suffer. He is not an anti-human lunatic, so he will naturally not do this. But to be honest, Lin Yi is actually itching to try it. Since I can't use high-level skills in the city, I can try it in the high-level leveling area where there are few people, right? Lin Yi threw all the alchemical potions and red and blue medicines he had just counted, as well as several experience scrolls and return scrolls, into the 50-slot portable space that came with the awakening profession. After that, Lin Yi walked out of the house and went to Zhongcheng's life-related professional commercial street to get a lot of food and water for free. He completely filled up his portable space. Daxia attaches great importance to the cultivation of talents. Therefore, new professionals like Lin Yi who have just awakened their skills all enjoy educational benefits. Just tell these life-related professional vendors, "I am a student." Then show your student ID card and you can get a lot of basic supplies for free. Everything is ready. Lin Yi walked out of the inner city of Zhongcheng and came to the suburbs. The suburbs are an endless grassland with a gentle breeze and good weather today. Lin Yi looked around and saw many people of his age waving various weapons on the grassland to kill small animals such as hares and marmots that are harmless to humans and animals. This is the lowest level training area outside Zhongcheng, Qingfeng Grassland. The monsters on this grassland are generally level 1 to 4, and all of them will not actively attack people. Even weak monsters like rabbits and marmots will only run away when they are hit, and will not fight back at all. This place is a paradise for novices. So a large number of people who have just awakened their professions will choose to level up here. However, the leveling efficiency will be relatively low. Because there are more people than monsters. Most monsters may be killed by countless attacks as soon as they are refreshed. So some people who pursue, or those with rich family backgrounds and stronger professions, will choose to go deep into the grassland to challenge more dangerous and stronger monsters, and the leveling efficiency will be higher. Lin Yi bypassed the popular leveling area of Qingfeng Grassland and walked deep into the grassland. It took half a day to walk. Half a day later, Lin Yi looked at the dense forest that appeared at the end of the grassland and breathed a sigh of relief. There is a more advanced leveling area, Howling Forest. The monsters in the forest are generally above level 9, and they are all bloodthirsty and brutal, and will attack actively. Lin Yi took a short break, ate some dry food, drank a few sips of water, and continued on his way. At the same time, he did not relax his vigilance and took out a bottle of alchemy potion prepared in his personal space. This potion flashed a faint blue light and looked very beautiful. Lin Yi drank the alchemy potion ton by ton. Well, it tasted terrible. I don't know what strange herbs were used to make it. There was a smell of coriander. However, Lin Yi didn't care too much. He was more concerned about the extra state that lasted for 1 hour. Intermediate Spiritual Potion. Increase your spiritual attributes by 30 points and your mana limit by 300 points. With the bonus of the passive skill Mana Storm, these 30 points of spiritual attributes are equivalent to increasing the mana limit by 2,100 points, and the effect of increasing the mana limit itself also gives an additional 2,100 points. With this state, Lin Yi's current mana has also increased from a pitiful 100 points to 4,300 points. With 70% mana reduction, Lin Yi calculated that he could at least cast hundreds of level 3 spells continuously. As for level 4 and level 5 spells, if he used them sparingly, he could still cast them at a high frequency. This is why Lin Yi dared to challenge the level 10 training area, the Howling Forest, with his fragile level 1 body. Walking into the forest, a chilly breath instantly surrounded Lin Yi. The plants in the forest are extremely lush. Even now when the sun is at its peak, there are only a few spots of sunlight that can fall on the forest. At this moment, there are almost no levelers around him. The time for the job transfer ceremony organized by each school in Zhongcheng is not fixed, and there may be a delay of 2 or 3 days. Lin Yi has been at home for 3 days, so he is not too far behind the main force. Going deeper, Lin Yi heard bursts of screaming and wailing like beasts. In fact, this is not the wailing of some creature, but it is said that there is a cave deep in the forest that blows out fierce winds all year round. When the wind blows through the forest, it will create such a gloomy and terrifying wailing sound. This is also the origin of the name of this forest. Hiss, hiss, hiss. A rustling sound suddenly came from above Lin Yi's head, and he became alert. Looking back, he saw a giant python as thick as a bucket, with 2 snake pupils as big as goose eggs, staring at him. The next moment, the giant python hissed, opened its bloody mouth, and bit towards Lin Yi. Lin Yi's mind moved, and he prepared a skill to kill it instantly. At this critical moment, The dark forest was instantly illuminated by orange-red flames. Lin Yi only felt an extremely familiar burning wave coming from behind him, and the next moment, a fireball suddenly hit the giant python's head. The giant python felt pain, and its hatred was instantly transferred. Its huge snake body rushed out from the tree trunk, suddenly bounced, and pounced fiercely in the direction of the attack. However, halfway through, he saw another giant fireball that was bigger than the previous one, as big as a basin, suddenly hit him. Boom! This big fireball hit the giant python, and a lot of sparks exploded instantly. After this heavy blow, the giant python was charred all over, and its huge body twisted for a while, and then it died completely. At this time, Lin Yi also saw the source of the two fireballs just now. It was a student-like young man of the same age as Lin Yi, and there was a middle-aged wizard in a gray robe beside him. At this moment, the young man was looking at Lin Yi with a playful look on his face. "Uncle Shu, how was my performance just now?" The young man seemed very satisfied with the fireball he just shot, and hurriedly asked for praise. The gray-robed middle-aged wizard standing next to him nodded. "Young master, your fireball technique just now was very accurate. If you practice diligently in the future, you will soon be able to easily level up in this wailing forest alone." For some reason, Lin Yi found that although the levels of the two people in front of him were much higher than his, but he could see the true strength of the two. It might be because they both exuded a faint magical fluctuation and the breath of fire element. The young man was many times weaker than himself, and the middle-aged gray-robed mage was only one level stronger. Both of them were fire mages. The second-level fire explosion just now was used by the middle-aged mage. In Lin Yi's opinion, without the help of the gray-robed middle-aged mage, the young man would have to suffer a little in the mouth of the giant python before he could win. It would definitely not be like what the middle-aged mage said, just relying on the fireball spell that was increased to about level 3, and walking sideways in this wailing forest. Received praise from the elders at home. The young man was even more proud. He looked at Lin Yi and said, "I just saved your life, why don't you thank me?" Lin Yi frowned slightly and said something that surprised the young man and the middle-aged mage. "Why did you steal my monster?" The boy obviously didn't expect Lin Yi to say such a thing. Not only did he not thank him, but he also said that he stole his monster. Does that mean that he can deal with that level 9 python by himself? Because of the level suppression, he is already level 7, and he can see at a glance that Lin Yi is only level 1. This kind of newbie will die in this forest without knowing how. How dare he be so arrogant? But he didn't say anything yet. The gray-robed mage beside him said, "Little brother, I see that your level is not high. This leveling area is very dangerous. You should leave as soon as possible." After saying that, he took the boy beside him away. Lin Yi looked at the two people walking away and shook his head. Although it was very unpleasant to be robbed of monsters, but considering that these two people might really take advantage of his low level, let it go. But it won't happen again. This little episode was quickly forgotten by Lin Yi. Because as he continued to go deeper into the howling forest, he never encountered other professionals again. And the monsters were getting denser and denser. Hiss, hiss, hiss. This time, 7 or 8 giant pythons with golden scales crawled down from the top of the tree canopy. However, before they approached Lin Yi raised his hand, and in an instant, more than a dozen terrifying fireballs the size of washbasins drew a series of scorching trajectories and hit these giant pythons. Pyrotechnics. If the gray-robed middle-aged mage just now saw this scene, he would definitely stare. Shocked and speechless. It was also a second-level skill, and Lin Yi used it with a smooth flow. He did not need to chant or prepare. And it was extremely accurate, and the fire element that permeated the world only needed a thought from Lin Yi. It would become a ready-made spell, killing all these high-level monsters instantly. Lin Yi was now a human-shaped self-propelled spell machine gun. Tired of the second-level fire explosion, Lin Yi began to use the third-level spell. Roar! 2 grizzly bears emerged from the dense forest behind Lin Yi, roared, and rushed up. Bears are animals that are not slow when running, even though they are covered in meat. However, the attack of the 2 forest brown bears was cut off by 3 flame guns forged by flames that suddenly fell from the sky. Boom, boom. The 3 flame guns penetrated the heads of the 2 brown bears, killing them instantly. The first and second bears both died, and the family was to be complete. You killed 8 LV.9 tree scale pythons and gained 1065 experience points, 360 points of cross-level kill bonus. You killed 2 LV.10 forest brown bears and gained 280 experience points, 80 points of cross-level kill bonus. Due to the effect of your primary experience bonus scroll, you gained an additional 10% experience points, 135 points. You gained 8 python scales. You gained 8 python fangs. You gained 2 bear paws. You reached LV.2. Gained 10 free attributes. After another wave of system prompts, a burst of white light appeared on Lin Yi's body, and he was upgraded. There is a lot of experience bonus for killing these high-level monsters, plus the experience bonus scroll that Zhang Ya, the rich woman, gave him before, gave him an additional 10% experience. This wave of killing monsters directly made him reach level 2. Lin Yi added all 10 free attribute points to the spiritual attribute. His mana limit soared by 700 points again. However, Lin Yi still felt insecure when he looked at his only 20 health points. Yes, although his output was maxed out and his alertness was maxed out. But it was still possible to capsize when he was alone in such a high-level leveling area. Especially if there were some monsters with stealth skills that would suddenly attack him. These 20 points of health were too fragile. Although the underlying mechanism of this world was similar to a game, reality was not a game after all, and there was no chance of resurrection. However, Lin Yi had a countermeasure for this situation. The extra 700 mana points were just enough to allow Lin Yi to implement his previous plan. Lin Yi began to chant. Under the 70% acceleration effect of Divine Grace chanting, his spell lasted less than 2 seconds before it ended. As Lin Yi finished casting, a huge hexagram magic circle suddenly appeared on the ground in front of him. The magic runes in the magic circle kept changing, and the whole earth began to shake. The blazing magma gushed out from the cracks in the earth. Then, an elemental creature with a body of 5 or 6 meters tall, made of scorching hot lava, appeared. The 6th level fire spell, Molten Flame Demon. This spell is a summoning spell. The effect is to summon a molten flame demon from the fire elemental realm. And this flame demon has several skills, high defense and thick blood, and is completely obedient to Lin Yi. Lin Yi lets it go and fight, and it is extremely obedient. Seeing his mana value drop directly from more than 5,000 to 0, Lin Yi also had some difficulty. The feeling of having his mana directly drained was not very pleasant. But when Lin Yi saw the attributes and skills of the Molten Flame Demon, everything was worth it. Molten Flame Demon. Level: LV.100. Type: Elemental Creature. Health: 500,000 500 thousandths. Mana: 250,000 250 thousandths. Strength: 800. Agility: 500. Spirit: 800. Constitution: 1000. Skills: Lava Spray, Earth Shaking Slam, Scorched Earth Field, Lava Shield, Self-Destruction. A level 100 summon. And it has 500,000 HP. There is no doubt that it is an extremely terrifying dimensionality reduction attack on other monsters in the Howling Forest. It is not a problem for one to beat thousands of others. And what Lin Yi values most is the Lava Shield skill that comes with the Molten Flame Demon. This skill can be added to yourself. Lin Yi controls the Molten Flame Demon to put a lava shield on himself. As the Molten Flame Demon swung its huge elemental arms, a layer of extremely fiery lava shield wrapped around Lin Yi's body. Perhaps it was because Lin Yi had a very high affinity for the fire element. The high temperature of the lava that ordinary people could not bear would only make him feel warm. Lava Shield. The scorching shield covering the body surface can absorb 15,000 damage for you. When you are attacked, it will cause 500 fire attribute damage to the source of the attack. 15,000 shield value. And there is also anti-injury. Lin Yi was completely relieved. With this shield that can last for an hour, and the extremely terrifying Molten Flame Demon beside him, he felt full of security. Under the influence of the 7% mana recovery effect per second, Lin Yi's mana that had just bottomed out quickly returned to full. Lin Yi chanted again and summoned the second Molten Flame Demon. Then the third one. Looking at the 3 mighty and oppressive Molten Flame Demons in front of him, Lin Yi was very satisfied. Summoning 3 at the same time is the current limit of Lin Yi. As his level increases and his affinity for the fire element increases, the number of summons he can summon will also increase. However, summoning 3 fire demons at the same time is already a very terrifying combat power. Lin Yi pondered for a moment and finally made a decision. He gave instructions to 2 of the molten fire demons. Let these 2 fire demons wander and patrol in the entire howling forest and kill all the monsters they see. The experience points and rewards of the monsters they kill will naturally be counted to Lin Yi. This is equivalent to 2 fully automatic leveling plugins, constantly helping you find monsters and kill monsters. It is much more efficient than Lin Yi leveling up alone. And the remaining flame demon, just take it with you, as a bodyguard. The 2 molten flame demons that received Lin Yi's order flew to other locations in the howling forest at a very fast speed. This elemental creature has no legs, and even only has an upper body. Their way of movement is more like floating in the air and moving horizontally. Although the 2 big guys look bulky, they are actually not slow, at least several times faster than Lin Yi running by himself. What's more terrifying is that the skill Scorched Earth field of these 2 flame demons is a range-type field skill that continuously spreads lava and high temperature with itself as the center. Lin Yi can clearly see that wherever the 2 flame demons pass, there is scorched earth everywhere, and the trees in the howling forest also begin to burn, leaving no grass. All the monsters that enter the flame demon's scorched earth field are burned to charcoal without even a chance to fight back. Lin Yi takes the remaining molten flame demon and continues to walk deeper into the howling forest. Along the way, Lin Yi can keep receiving prompts in his mind. All of them were prompts about how many monsters were killed and how much experience points were obtained. He had only taken a few steps. A white light appeared on Lin Yi again. You have reached LV.3. Gain 10 free attributes. Before Lin Yi even finished adding the 10 free attribute points he had just obtained, another 5 or 6 white lights appeared on Lin Yi in an instant. You have reached LV.4. Gain 10 free attributes. You have reached LV.5. Gain 10 free attributes. You have reached LV.6. Gain 10 free attributes. You have reached LV.7. Gain 10 free attributes. Lin Yi was stunned. What on earth did those 2 fire demons do? How could there be such a huge amount of experience points suddenly? He reached level 7 in a second. It seems that leveling up in this world is not difficult. If Lin Yi's idea was known to his classmates, they would probably yell at him on the spot. Because even Zhang Ya, at this moment, there is still at least half a day left before reaching level 7. This is since she awakened her profession. In the past 7 days, she has not rested for a moment and has been leveling up. At this moment she has also entered the Wailing Forest. With her psychic telepathy and wide area killing ability, her leveling efficiency is actually far beyond that of her peers. But even so, her 7 days of hard work and 7 days of struggle were still not as good as the molten flame demon walking around in the Wailing Forest. Zhang Ya used her telekinesis to completely knock out a forest grizzly bear in front of her. Then she used telekinesis to cut again. After finishing the last hit, her mana had completely bottomed out. It was getting dark now, and there was even less light in the entire howling forest. It takes courage for Zhang Ya to level up here alone. She sat down and drank a bottle of blue medicine to slowly restore her mana. At the same time, she also took out dry food and water to replenish her consumption for the day. Sitting on a stone in the forest, the face of the young man who had suppressed her for 3 years and made her feel both resentful and unforgettable slowly appeared in front of Zhang Ya's eyes. Now, what is that guy doing? Did he receive what he gave him? I have asked my family to check whether he is in the grassland leveling area, but I still haven't received the summons. He wouldn't really be completely depressed like this, would he? Do you want to go see him in person tomorrow? Zhang Ya thought about it and fell into a state of self-tangle again. In the past 7 days, these thoughts had troubled her countless times. She stamped her foot. Why are you thinking so much? How is he? What does it have to do with me? But the more she thought about it, the more she couldn't help but wonder. Woman is such a magical animal. However, the changes in the forest soon made Zhang Ya alert again. Ouch! This is the shrill howl of a wolf. At the same time, there were countless other strange beastly roars. At the same time, the entire land seemed to be shaking. Zhang Ya heard the sound of the hooves and feet of countless animals galloping. Her expression changed, and she quickly drank 2 bottles of potion that had a long CD but could quickly restore blue. Then he hid behind a giant tree and carefully observed the changes in the surrounding environment. Soon, Zhang Ya saw a large group of galloping beasts rushing towards her from a very far distance. Tigers, leopards, brown bears, elk, and even countless smaller animals. These animals, which are supposed to have a relationship between prey and prey, are surprisingly harmonious at this moment. They didn't attack each other, they were just running wildly, as if there was something very scary behind them. Zhang Ya was stunned. Beast tide. In a small leveling area in Zhangcheng, in the Wailing Forest, a tide of beasts unexpectedly appeared. What on earth could have frightened these monsters to make them so panicked? Zhang Ya was inexplicably shocked, and then he saw 2 other figures running away in a hurry before the beast wave. They were an old man and a young man. The older ones were wearing gray robes. The younger ones seemed to be students who have just awakened to their careers recently. What happened? Zhang Ya's pretty face, which usually showed little expression, was full of surprise. Seeing the 2 people approaching quickly, she asked quickly. Who knew that the 2 of them ignored her at all? Just keep running forward, and wait for the beast tide to pass through. Zhang Yakai was shocked to discover what it was that had been chasing them. Boom! A fierce heat wave suddenly hit. Zhang Ya's mouth instantly felt dry. She saw a scene like purgatory. Blazing fire, trees burned to black ash, and a terrifying monster that was 5 or 6 meters tall, with hot lava flowing all over its body, and a hideous face. Run, run. This is the last remaining survival instinct in Zhang Ya's mind. Horrible. She felt that she might never forget such a scene in her dreams for the rest of her life. Fortunately, Zhang Ya's profession of telepathy allows her to use telepathy to propel herself to move at high speeds. Even after she advanced her telekinesis, she was able to fly. The ability to escape is very strong. Soon Zhang Ya caught up with the gray-robed middle-aged mage. At this time, Zhang Ya also discovered that the young man following the mage was almost crying. Uncle Shu, it's too scary, what is that? The gray-robed middle-aged mage also looked panicked. I don't know either. How could such a terrifying boss appear in this level 10 leveling area? There must be something wrong here. The name of this middle-aged mage is Shu Guangliang. He is the second head of a small mage family in Zhangcheng. Today he just brought his eldest nephew to level up. I think it's relaxing and enjoyable. Who knew that we would encounter such a terrifying Balrog monster? It was also a profession that controlled flames to fight the enemy. Shu Guangliang only felt that he was once proud of the pyroblast technique. In front of that Balrog monster, it can only be regarded as a small flame at best. This old man and young man, as well as Zhang Ya, who was constantly running for her life, would never have thought of this. The terrifying Balrog gave them a great shock and a sense of oppression. It turned out to be the servants summoned by Lin Yi. And the target of the fire demon was not them. It was the herd of beasts that were running for their lives. They just happened to walk into the path of the beast tide, and then they were swept in like an avalanche, that's all. Zhang Ya gritted her teeth. It seems that there is no information to be obtained from the middle-aged wizard. At this moment, she controlled her telekinesis to the limit and her speed soared again. She successfully escaped the encirclement of the beasts, and then she planned to rush out of the boundary of the Howling Forest without stopping. But at this moment, the whole Howling Forest was actually rang with regional alarms. Alarm! Alarm! Regional alarm in Zhangcheng Base City. A few minutes ago, the Zhangcheng Monster Disaster Warning Center detected 2 small-scale beast tides, moving from the central area of the Howling Forest to the southeast and southwest. At the same time, a terrifying monster of unknown level and strength appeared behind the beast tide. Please all professionals in the Howling Forest area and those close to the Howling Forest take shelter in time. Repeat. The alert level is level 2. Please all relevant professionals take shelter immediately. Zhang Ya was horrified. Level 2 alert. She had only seen this alert level in books. This means that a terrifying monster disaster that threatens the entire Zhangcheng is about to occur, and the type of destruction is likely to reach the scale of half the city. All the professionals who received this warning message were shocked. At this moment, on the Qingfang grassland, The relevant departments of Zhongcheng City Defense dispatched a large number of professional troops, and the weaving professionals of the Professional Alliance were all on high alert. They stared at the direction of the howling forest with great tension. Judging from the surveillance footage sent back from the front, the two waves of beast tides are not a big problem. The biggest problem is the two extremely ferocious giant molten flame demons. The junction of Qingfang grassland and Wailing Forest. Behind the army of countless professionals, standing there are two people with the highest power and prestige in the whole Zhongcheng. One of them is wearing armor, with a square face and white hair and beard, which is obviously the image of a general who has been on the battlefield for a long time. His name is Wei Xing, the commander-in-chief of the Zhongcheng Professional City Defense Army, and his strength has reached the 3rd level. Standing next to him is another slightly fat middle-aged man with the strength of the 3rd level. "Old Wei, how are the casualties?" The slightly fat middle-aged man was panting. His name was Wang Dahai. His profession was a priest, which is commonly known as a nanny. Naturally, his physical strength was not as good as that of a warrior professional like Wei Xing. And as the director of the Education Bureau and the city lord of Zhongcheng Base City, he has been in a high position for a long time. When he saw this scene, he obviously paid attention to the casualties at the first time. After all, this is related to the so-called positive performance evaluation during his tenure. Although Wei Xing's face was solemn, he was still relaxed when talking about the casualties. Almost none of this year's new professionals were able to enter the Howling Forest to level up in such a short time. Most of them are in the Qingfang grassland. The few who entered the forest to level up were at most touched by panic monsters, and were not attacked at all. The injuries they received were only minor, and no one died. Wang Dahai breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it's not a big mess. How's the intelligence collection on the monster going? Wei Xing's face darkened again, and he continued, "It's terrifying. Preliminary estimates show that the strength of the two monsters has at least reached the Overlord level, and the level is around level 100. The scouts I sent out failed in identification, and none of them could bring back complete intelligence. Fortunately, the two monsters did not show a very obvious intention to attack. It seems that their target is only the low-level monsters in the forest. If the situation deteriorates to the point where we have to kill the two monsters, it will be very troublesome. They are all elemental creatures. Not only do they have extremely high resistance to fire, but their elemental bodies can almost offset most of the damage to physical attacks." A drop of cold sweat slid down Wang Dahai's forehead. Overlord-level monsters with a level of more than 100, and this is the most difficult elemental creature. How can Zhongcheng, as a most ordinary level 5 base city, have such a reputation? The surrounding areas are all leveling areas of no more than level 20. How could a monster of this level be refreshed? While the two were talking, the beast tide driven away by the two molten flame demons completely broke through the border of the Howling Forest and rushed into the territory of the Breeze Forest. The professionals who had been ready to attack at any time all took out their weapons and planned to deal with these panicked monsters who had lost their normal behavior logic. And just when they had just killed a few elks, a terrible change happened. The two molten flame demons who also rushed out of the Howling Forest saw that these professionals had killed their hunting targets first, and instantly let out a low and terrifying roar. The boiling lava all over their bodies surged. The order Lin Yi issued to them was to kill these monsters as much as possible to help him level up. And now these monsters have been robbed by others. There is no doubt that they violated Lin Yi's orders, so of course they would fall into a state of rage. The molten flame demon, who originally had no intention of showing any aggression towards these humans, shook his two huge elemental arms at this moment, and the hot lava on his body splashed like raindrops towards the countless professionals who were trying to grab monsters. This is their long-range attack skill, Lava Jet. Although Wang Dahai looks like an unprepossessing fat man. But after all, he is a priest of the 3rd level or above. At this time, he also had a staff flashing with holy white light in his hand. The staff was waved, and a golden shield suddenly appeared, covering the professionals standing in the front row. Puff! Countless hot lava came into contact with the golden shield, and the terrifying temperature almost melted the shield instantly. Wang Dahai quickly chanted again and added a layer of holy light shield. Only then did he barely save the lives of those professionals. Wang Dahai was no longer sweating on his forehead. Instead, he was sweating profusely. What a high attack power! Moreover, this diffuse attack also carries continuous damage such as burning. If it really hits the crowd, the consequences will be unimaginable. Wei Xing on the side gritted his teeth. The situation has indeed deteriorated to the point he least wants to see. He dared not think about the price he would have to pay to kill these two terrifying monsters. At this moment, an extremely old voice sounded from the sky. Stop it all, don't attack any monster in the beast tide, let alone the two molten flame demons. Spread the encirclement, control and drive the beast tide to a certain range, and let the two molten flame demons kill the beast tide. Hearing this old voice, Wang Dahai and Wei Xing both looked happy. Here it comes, the real strongest man in their Zhongcheng. The figure who is like a stabilizing force, the president of the Professional Alliance, the fourth-turn great magician Zhang Xian. Everyone listen to the order. Do as Zhang Lao tells you. Wei Xing hurriedly ordered his subordinates. Soon, no one dared to attack the monsters that ran out of the howling forest. Instead, they surrounded them and sent them to the flame field of the two lava monsters. Sure enough, the two monsters never fell into rage again, but harvested the lives of those monsters step by step. Almost more than 10 minutes later, hundreds of monsters were all killed by the two molten flame demons. The two flame demons were satisfied. Without even looking at the hundreds of professionals present, they turned around and returned to the howling forest. They would faithfully carry out the orders given to them by Lin Yi. A terrible crisis was resolved. All the professionals breathed a sigh of relief, and they all felt like they had survived a disaster. It was terrible. I almost lost my life here today. Zhang Xian rode a Pegasus with a pair of wings on its ribs and fell from the sky. After a melodious flute sound, he took the warhorse back to his own riding space. Zhang Xian looked at the two fire demons that were gradually going away, his eyes full of envy and awe. Mr. Zhang, you know what they are, right? Wei Xing asked. Zhang Xian had named the two monsters as soon as he appeared. He also knew their behavior logic. Zhang Xian nodded and said slowly, you are all wrong. Those two molten fire demons are not monsters at all, but the summons of a great mage. Wang Dahai and Wei Xing were all stunned. They all couldn't believe their ears. That was the summons of a great mage. They and others actually wanted to provoke a great mage with at least the 6th level of strength just now. The levels of all professionals in Blue Star are very strict. Take the profession of mage as an example. 1 transfer, which is the level of transfer that Lin Yi is currently at. It can only be regarded as a newbie who has just started on the path of magic. This type of professional is generally called a junior mage, or a mage apprentice. 2nd and 3rd transfers correspond to intermediate and senior professional titles. Starting from the 4th rank, that is, the corresponding job description for a powerful person like Zhang Xian will be called a great magician. The 5th rank is the magister, and the 6th rank is the great mage. Above the 7th level, there is the holy magister, who can also be called the Dharma saint. In short, after each profession reaches the 7th level, they can all be called saints. A higher level, sorry, even Zhang Xian doesn't understand it, and has never heard of it. That was no longer a level he could touch. Wang Dahai asked tremblingly. Then, Mr. Zhang, you are saying that a rank 6 great wizard is coming to our Zhongcheng territory right now. One of the requirements for career changes for professionals is that at least one skill reaches the corresponding level. Therefore, generally speaking, strong people who can use corresponding level skills will basically match each other in their job transfer situations. There are cases where low-level job transfers have high-level skills, but they are extremely rare. So basically after seeing the 6th level spell Molten Fire Demon, we can basically deduce this conclusion. Zhang Xian nodded. Decades ago, I was lucky enough to go to the pantheon of the Supreme Mage Professional Guild of our Blue Star for training. My mentor at that time was a rank 6 great mage. It was also at that time that I saw the teacher. He had summoned such a fire demon from the plane of fire element to come to this plane. Magic of this kind requires extremely terrifying magic affinity skills. It is also a skill that I have longed to learn in my life. Unfortunately, I probably won't have the chance. There was a trace of regret on Zhang Xian's face. I also secretly made a decision in my heart, whether I should find a way to meet this senior later. If you are lucky enough to get some advice from this senior, that would be a great honor. Okay, I'd better lead the troops back to the camp first. Everything is just a misunderstanding. I hope that senior can be a gentleman and ignore the villain's mistakes. Wei Xing was about to leave, but Wang Dahai took a sneak peek at Zhang Xian. He actually also wanted to meet the legendary great mage. But just when several people had their own plans, an extremely vast and terrifying magic power wave came from the depths of the Wailing Forest. As a mage, Zhang Xian is naturally the most sensitive to fluctuations in magic power. It was almost the next moment when I felt the fluctuation of magic power. His face changed drastically and he was sweating like rain. Because he felt the fire element aura that was even more terrifying than the molten flame demon, which was gathering rapidly over their area. Zhang Xian suddenly raised his head and looked at the sky. It's almost night now. The setting sun had even sunk beneath the western mountains just now. The sky gradually became dark. However, at this moment, above the skyline seemed to be resurrected, once again coated with a layer of brilliant gold. Then, the entire sky began to gradually turn red. The professionals who had not had time to retreat also discovered this unusual celestial phenomenon, and they all exclaimed, "Look at the sky. Didn't the sun set? Why did the sky turn red again? It's so hot. Have you ever felt that the temperature is a few degrees hotter than before? You, look over there, what is that? That's a dragon." At this moment, the blazing skyline and countless orange-red rays of light gathered together and gradually condensed into a terrifying dragon with a wingspan of hundreds of meters. The dragon's body is composed of the purest fire element, and it looks huge and sacred. It also exudes extremely terrifying coercion. Just by letting the professionals below take a look at it, they feel like they are fighting. The dragon was completely formed, and the temperature in the entire Qingfang grassland and Wailing Forest areas increased by 7 to 8 degrees again. Everyone's mouth is dry from the heat. Run, notify everyone and evacuate immediately. Otherwise we will all die. This is a 7th level spell. Zhang Xian suppressed the shock in his heart, and with the last trace of reason, he quickly informed the two people around him. Wang Dahai heard this. I just felt a roar in my mind, and it instantly turned into a blank. 7th level spell. In other words, the senior who is currently in the Wailing Forest. In fact, he is not a great wizard, but a 7th turn Dharma saint. Retreat. Retreat quickly. Wei Xing reacted quickly and shouted loudly for his men to retreat. At the same time, all professionals who were leveling up within hundreds of kilometers around Qingfang grassland also received warnings again. Alarm! Alarm! Zhangcheng Base City Area Alert! 7th level spell fluctuations have been detected on the outskirts of Zhangcheng Base. All professionals in the area are requested to evacuate immediately and take shelter in the nearest underground air defense bunker. Repeat. Repeat. This alert level is level 1. Please evacuate immediately. All the professionals in Zhangcheng were stunned. Within a day, or even within half an hour of each other. Level 2 and Level 1 alerts were issued one after another. What's wrong? The end of the world. For a moment, everyone was in a panic and began to evacuate. Zhang Ya looked at the blazing skyline in the sky. And the terrifying fire dragon with wings spread out, enough to cover the sky and the sun. The young mind was greatly shocked. Time went back a little. 1 minute ago, the center of the howling forest. Lin Yi was surrounded, and he was surrounded by hundreds of sturdy tigers. Lin Yi had come to the deepest part of this leveling area. He also saw the huge cave entrance that was rumored to be spewing violent storms. But he didn't expect that this was actually the territory of a group of forest tigers with a level of 11. Roar! An extremely terrifying roar suddenly came from the cave. The next moment, Lin Yi saw a tiger king with a body of 4 or 5 meters long, with stripes all over his body flashing green light, and extremely majestic and magical, walking out of the cave. Boom, boom, every time it steps, it is extremely dull. It is estimated that its weight is at least calculated in tons. Lin Yi's eyes lit up. It seems that this should be the strongest monster in the entire howling forest. And this is definitely a boss. Unfortunately, I don't have the identification technique, so I don't know the name of this boss for the time being. Swoosh! Lin Yi only felt a flash in front of his eyes, and the next moment, he only saw the Tiger King's right claw swung violently. In an instant, more than 10 extremely sharp wind blades hit him at a very fast speed. The lava shield on Lin Yi's body instantly fell by more than 1,000 points. Wow, such a strong offensive. And this boss can even cast wind blade spells. Judging from the green tiger stripes on its body, it is estimated that it has lived in this cave with dense wind elements for many years, and its body should have been transformed to some extent. A trace of extremely human shock appeared in the eyes of the Tiger King. It is very afraid of the huge monster next to the human. But it did not take this human to heart. In its opinion, a few wind blades should have torn this human into pieces. Lin Yi's mouth curled up a little smile. Not bad, I finally found someone with some strength. Then let me try my new spell on you. Lin Yi didn't use the one free cast and one instant high-level spell chants of the two passive skills Mana Storm and God's Grace chant. Just like your ultimate skill, you won't use it easily. Seeing a group of soldiers, it's impossible that anyone is willing to give up the big clear soldiers casually, right? So Lin Yi has always planned to try his luck and see if there will be any boss-level targets in this howling forest that can satisfy his desire. Now this Tiger King is undoubtedly an excellent target. However, before Lin Yi casts a spell, 5 or 6 white lights suddenly appear on his body again. You are promoted to LV.8. Get 10 free attributes. You are promoted to LV.9. Get 10 free attributes. You are promoted to LV.10. Get 10 free attributes. You are promoted to LV.11. Get 10 free attributes. You are promoted to LV.12. Get 10 free attributes. This scene surprised Lin Yi. Even the Tiger King not far away was stunned. What happened to this human? How did he suddenly level up so much? Of course, Lin Yi didn't know that this was a large wave of experience gained by killing all the beasts driven away by the professionals after the 2 molten flame demons he summoned. However, this little episode only delayed the death of this Tiger King by half a minute. The next moment, Lin Yi stretched out a finger, pointed at the Tiger King. The next moment, the sky and the earth changed color. The terrifying magic fluctuations aroused the fire elements between the sky and the earth, and all of them became violent. The next moment, the top of the dense forest, which had almost completely darkened, lit up again with a deep red color. It was as if the sunset was coming again. Roar! Woo! The whole tiger group began to panic. The roars and whimpers of the beasts came one after another. The perception of animals to disasters has always been much more acute than that of humans. They all felt the breath of impending disaster. Even the Tiger King's constant roar could not suppress the desire of its tribe and its dependents to escape. Some adult tigers have already started running wildly on all fours, trying their best to escape from here. However, the ending that awaits them is still hopeless. Because the 7th level spell, Sky Flame Dragon Breath, covers a very large area. And because Lin Yi casts it instantly, the lengthy chanting time is completely eliminated. So the speed of the attack is beyond everyone's imagination. Yin, the elemental dragon in the sky let out a long dragon roar, and then its huge wings kept flashing. With its head held high, it suddenly spewed out large pieces of scorching dragon breath the next moment. The width of the dragon breath can no longer be calculated in meters. It should be calculated in kilometers. The dragon flame is like a rain curtain, stretching a range of dozens of kilometers. Wherever it passes, the dense forest withers instantly and turns into charcoal. Countless poor creatures didn't even react. The catastrophe is imminent. Half a minute later, the dragon breath of the elemental dragon in the sky directly split the entire howling forest into 2, and the 2 sides of the forest were still densely covered with vegetation and trees. And the central area, within a range of more than 10 kilometers, was already a scorched earth burning like purgatory. Then, the magic fluctuations slowly subsided. The figure of the dragon formed by the gathering of pure fire elements also slowly dissipated at the end of the skyline. The professionals who had evacuated quickly outside the forest before survived. After all, the target of the sky flame dragon breath this time was not them. But just now, while running, the raging heat wave and the terrifying storm behind them told them. If the target of this spell was them, they would not have time to escape. Now it is a pool of ashes. Zhang Xian, the the strongest man in Zhongcheng who witnessed the whole process and also a mage, trembled all over. He rode on his Mount Pegasus, looking down at the entire howling forest from the sky. This forest covers an area of thousands of kilometers. The doomsday burn mark in the middle of it silently illustrates the terrifying power of the 7th level spell. That is a shocking force that can change the landscape. The one who really came to Zhongcheng was not a 6th level great magician, but a 7th level magic saint. How could such a person come to such a small 5th level base city, and why would he use such a high level spell in such a low level leveling area? Tonight, I guess many people, including myself, will not be able to sleep. At the same time, the central area of the howling forest. Or rather, this place can no longer be called a forest. Wherever Lin Yi looked, there were burning flames, and trees were burned in the flames until they crackled and sparks flew. Even the huge cave in front of Lin Yi became bare at this moment. The howling wind also stopped completely. From now on, the howling forest will never look the same again, and its name will be completely changed. As for the entire group of tigers that had surrounded Lin Yi with a fierce look, they had already turned into ashes. The majestic and ferocious Tiger King had now turned into a few pieces of equipment and a white skill book, which fell quietly to the ground. Lin Yi's eyes lit up. The Tiger King is indeed a boss, and it dropped treasures. Lin Yi picked up 2 pieces of equipment. After taking a look, they are both warrior-type plate armor equipment, and the grade is only black iron. If you take it to the auction house, you can only exchange it for a few thousand Daxia coins. The truly valuable thing is the skill book. In this world, the most valuable thing is skills. Most professionals have to make trade-offs between skills because of insufficient skill points. But everyone understands the principle that more is better. Some skills, just having them, even if the level is not high, can sometimes play a miraculous effect. Lin Yi picked up the skill book and checked its attributes. Beginner skill book, Wind Blade. Type, skill book classic. Profession, mage. Learnable level, LV.5. Effect, after use, you will get a new spell, Wind Blade. Lin Yi's eyes lit up. Good stuff. I didn't expect to be so lucky. Not only did I get an extremely rare dropped skill book, but I can also use it myself. I originally thought of selling this skill book directly, exchanging some Daxia coins, and seeing if I could buy another skill book that the mage profession can learn. Now it seems that I can do it in one step. The price of skill books between professions is also very different. Anyway, I don't know why, the skill books of seemingly simple professions such as warriors and knights are much cheaper. Long-range professions such as mages and archers, especially mages, skill books are sky-high prices. And in a small base city like Zhongcheng, the goods that can be bought in the trading house are basically elementary skill books. There is no such thing as a skill book that can be directly learned as a 2nd or 3rd level. Lin Yi directly used this skill book. The next moment, he received a prompt. Congratulations, the skill book was used successfully, and you got a new skill, Wind Blade. Chapter 11. Wind Blade. Type, active skill. Level, primary. Class, wind. Consumption, 30 mana. Chanting time, 1 second. Cooling time, none. Effect, summon a wind blade to attack distant enemies. This skill is mediocre. It is the basis of all the wind skills of mages. It is the same as Fireball. The only advantage of Wind Blade over Fireball is that it is invisible and flies very fast. It is difficult for the target to dodge. And the chanting time is very short, only 1 second. But in contrast, the damage of Wind Blade is only about half of that of a Fireball. Each skill of the mage has very obvious characteristics. The Wind class is obviously agile, fast, and crisp. The Fire class is the ultimate output violence. Of course, in Lin Yi's hands, it only takes a few days for this Wind Blade skill to become extremely violent after it is upgraded to a high level. The 7th level Sky Flame Dragon Breath can cause such a scale of destruction. Then how terrifying would the 8th level spells, or even the 9th level forbidden spells, be? Lin Yi felt full of motivation just thinking about it. He is now more motivated to upgrade his Sky Flame Dragon Breath to the 9th level forbidden spell as soon as possible. Lin Yi looked around and found that there were no traces of monster activity around him. It was dark, and the dragon breath flames gradually extinguished after burning all the trees. A hook moon hung high in the sky. Without the shelter of the trees, the night wind was cold, and Lin Yi felt a little cold. Lin Yi accidentally discovered another situation that surprised him. That is, his level had been upgraded to level 30 without him noticing. In just one day, his level soared to the limit of the first turn. At level 30, he could even go to the job transfer sanctuary in Zhongcheng to receive the second job transfer mission. The damage caused by the sky flame dragon breath just now was estimated to be far more than he expected. Lin Yi flipped through the experience acquisition record. Later, after reaching level 30, all the experience points he got became 0 points, which were all overflow experience. Because if he didn't complete the job transfer mission and release the second job transfer, he couldn't continue to upgrade. Then there was no reason to stay here. Because the monster level of the Howling Forest could no longer provide Lin Yi with too many experience points. Lin Yi took out a scroll with a faint purple light from his personal space. This was the return scroll Zhang Ya gave him before. The coordinate point marked on the scroll was the teleportation hall in Zhongcheng. It was getting late, and it was estimated that his parents were waiting for him to go home for dinner. In order not to worry them, Lin Yi planned to go home directly. But just when Lin Yi was about to crush the scroll and teleport away, suddenly, a little bit of fluorescent green light in the darkness beside him attracted his attention. Lin Yi raised his hand. The molten flame demon that he had just sent back to the fire elemental plane appeared again. This type of summoning spell is actually a time contract spell. Once used, it can last for a whole day. During this period, Lin Yi, the summoner, can choose to let the two flame demons return to the elemental plane at any time, let them recuperate, and then dispatch them again. No need to summon again. With this big guy with flames all over his body, Lin Yi stretched out his hand and pointed, and the molten flame demon obediently went to the position where the emerald green light flashed before. Just like a big light bulb. With the lighting effect of the molten flame demon, Lin Yi soon found the source of the emerald green light. It was the cave where the wind pattern Tiger King walked out before. With the molten flame demon leading the way, and a 7th level spell washing the ground before, Lin Yi was not too worried that there was something hidden in the cave that would attack his 6th brother. However, for the sake of caution, Lin Yi still let the molten flame demon put a lava shield on him. Then he followed behind and slowly walked into the cave. As soon as he entered the cave, Lin Yi felt a strong wind blowing towards him. Even though it was mostly blocked by the molten flame demon's huge body, Lin Yi felt that the speed of the wind was a bit outrageous. What kind of ghost thing is in this cave, and the wind element is so dense? To Lin Yi's surprise, this cave is actually much deeper than he thought. After walking for a while, the direction of the cave began to extend underground. Fortunately, the slope was not too steep, and Lin Yi was able to slowly descend while crouching. A few minutes later, Lin Yi finally saw the source of the emerald green light he had seen before, and was deeply shocked. After walking through the difficult and narrow cave passage, I didn't expect that it would suddenly become open. The whole cave seemed to have turned into a palace with a very high dome, and there was a violent storm of about level 10 in the cave. The source of these storms was the countless emerald green crystals growing outward on the 4 walls of the cave. Lin Yi could feel that these crystals contained extremely pure wind element power. This should be the reason why this cave was blown by violent winds all year round, because deep in the cave, there were a lot of minerals that Lin Yi had never heard of. Although Lin Yi had never seen this kind of mineral, but he instinctively realized that this thing seemed to be very similar to the heavenly materials and earthly treasures he described in the textbook. To put it simply, after the blue star mutation, many minerals, plants, and even animals changed in nature after being contaminated with certain spiritual auras. And this change is beneficial to humans. Over time, these things were classified as natural treasures or spiritual objects. Lin Yi was delighted. I'm so lucky today. I didn't expect that in addition to the skill book, there would be an unexpected surprise. If I take these things to the trading house to sell, I guess I can sell them for a good price, right? Well, it seems that I have to find a way to identify them. Otherwise, although I only know that these crystals are treasures, I don't know what they are specifically and how much they are worth. It will also be very troublesome. Lin Yi observed carefully. The distribution of the emerald green crystals in the entire cave is not very regular. And there are a small number of crystals growing on the top of the cave and on the extremely high walls of the cave, which I definitely can't reach. Fortunately, there are 7 or 8 clusters of crystals growing in the same place, and the position is not too high, although I can't reach it. But the big fool beside him can get it. Lin Yi commanded the molten flame demon to move towards the clusters of huge crystal veins. Soon Lin Yi saw more details with the help of the firelight. Under the large piece of emerald green crystal, countless animal skeletons and scattered animal hairs were seen. From the thickness and length of these animal hairs, it can be judged that they should have fallen from the Tiger King before. The Tiger King rested under this crystal vein for many years, no wonder it also gained some special abilities of wind attributes. Is this a strange companion relationship between treasures and monsters? The molten flame demon's huge arms began to dig into the emerald green crystal on the cave wall. Maybe the temperature on its body is too high. Lin Yi discovered that part of the emerald green crystal stone close to its body began to vaporize. Lin Yi felt a little distressed. Stop immediately. The molten flame demon's 2 pupils were burning with flames, showing an extremely human expression. Like a child who made a mistake. But it looks so big and scary, and the contrast is very cute. Lin Yi was helpless. He knew that the molten fire demon didn't do it on purpose. But then he directed the Balrog to start digging from the rock formations around the crystal stone on the cave wall, and there was no problem. It didn't take long, and soon the large cluster of emerald green crystals was mined along with some rocks. Lin Yi cleaned out some water and food from the portable space, and then put them into his own portable space. Later, Lin Yi sent the molten flame demon back to the elemental plane, and then crushed the scroll of return to the city. After a while, the world was spinning. Lin Yi opened his eyes again and found that he had returned to Zhongcheng's teleportation hall. After walking out of the teleportation hall, Lin Yi walked straight home. Lin Yi planned to go to the trading house to take a look at the spiritual objects in the backpack and the things dropped by the Tiger King tomorrow. After returning home, Lin Yi and his parents had a simple meal. After dinner, go back to your room. Lin Yi opened the panel. The balance of skill points that he had almost squandered this morning actually had an extra 40,000 to 50,000 points at this moment. This feeling that someone is sending resources to me all the time is stable happiness. Today I got a new wind skill. Do you want to add up the skills of this department to see the effect? Reason told him that with one more series of skills, his choices would definitely be wider, and his actual combat effectiveness would definitely be improved even more. Especially after seeing the terrifying destructive power of the 7th level spell Sky Flame Dragon Breath. Lin Yi has fallen in love with the feeling of destroying everything with a flip of his hand. 7th level fire spells are already so powerful. So what will a 7th level wind spell look like? Lin Yi secretly made up his mind. Anyway, it would only take more than 100,000 skill points to increase to level 7. One more day of idle time is enough. The next day. Lin Yi also got up very early. One night passed, and the skill point balance approached 100,000 points. It is estimated that by noon, I will be able to add a wave of super points to the new wind skills and level up quickly. Before that, Lin Yi planned to go shopping in the Life and Career Street first and sell the large cluster of emerald green crystals he dug yesterday to see how much he could get for it. Then go to the trading house to see if you can find a few wizard-type skill books. Finally, go to the job transfer sanctuary. Receive the second transfer mission. After the second turn, I should unlock more new skills. With such a plan, Lin Yi went out and soon came to Zhongcheng Life Professional Shopping Street. Lin Yi found the best appraiser on this street. He planned to first identify what the emerald green crystal he got in the cave yesterday was, and then roughly know its value, so that when he sold it, he would not be cheated by profiteers. Young man, are you trying to identify something? A gentle old man with white hair and beard, wearing glasses, looked at Lin Yi with a smile. This is the most respected appraiser in the entire Zhongcheng Life and Career Street. Lin Yi nodded and took out a small piece of emerald green crystal from the portable space. As soon as the crystal appeared, Lin Yi felt a cool breeze starting to blow in the hall of the appraisal shop. The smile on the old man's face froze for a moment. Then it got serious. Young man, what you have in your hand is incredible. Can you let me see it? Lin Yi nodded and handed the crystal to the old man. The old man adjusted the glasses on the bridge of his nose and began to look at them carefully. At the same time, the light of the identification technique also lit up one after another. Soon, the old man looked at Lin Yi in amazement. Incredible, such pure wind spirit rock essence is really rare. Lin Yi's heart moved. This thing was originally called Fengling rock marrow. This kind of mineral vein type spiritual object that is rich in elements depends not only on the purity, but also on the size of the one-time shot. Young man, what you showed me should be just a small sample. You should have the entire crystal mine on hand. If it is large and the purity is as high as this sample. Before the old man could finish speaking, Lin Yi took out a whole piece of emerald crystal ore weighing 20 or 30 kilograms. The old man who was giving Lin Yi an estimate just now suddenly took a breath of air and was stunned. I almost didn't even come up with a breath, so I sent him away. After a long while, the old man calmed down and then said, "Young man, such a large piece of Fengling rock marrow cannot be estimated by market price. It is already considered a collection. You'd better go to a store that specializes in recycling spiritual objects and ask. Don't sell it to a trading house. The trading house can only weigh it and recycle it according to the market price. You will sell it for a lot less money." Lin Yi thanked the old man. After paying the appraisal fee, he put the Fengling marrow back into his backpack and continued shopping in the Life and Career Street. More than half an hour later, Lin Yi walked out of a store called Zhenbao Pavilion. This is a shop that specializes in recycling natural treasures and spiritual objects, similar to the antique shop that Lin Yi was familiar with in his previous life. At this moment, he had an extra VIP black card of this national chain treasure pavilion in his pocket. There were also 120,000 Daxia coins in the card. After selling the collection-level Fengling rock marrow, the enthusiastic boss even gave Lin Yi an extra 10,000 Daxia coins. According to the boss, this 10,000 is just to make friends. If Lin Yi has such good things in the future, he must come to him. He will definitely buy it at a price much higher than the market price. Until he walked out of the store, Lin Yi himself was a little confused. How did he suddenly become rich? Daxia is currently one of the strongest countries in Blue Star. The value and circulation rate of its currency are both frighteningly high. 120,000 Daxia coins are indeed a lot of money. Lin Yi's father, Lin Guodong, worked hard in the mine for 3 or 4 years, and maybe he could only earn this amount. Ding! It is detected that the currency you hold exceeds 100,000 for the first time. Your SSS level talent, Gift of the Gods, has unlocked a new function. A prompt sounded in Lin Yi's mind. New function. Lin Yi quickly opened his talent interface. Soon Lin Yi understood what the so-called new function was. Gift of the Gods. Effect. You gain 1 skill point per second. New function. Now you can spend the currency circulating in the real world to purchase a 24-hour idle skill point reward. Note that every time you purchase an idle skill point reward, the amount of currency required for the next purchase will increase. The current currency required for one purchase, 10,000 Daxia coins. When Lin Yi obtained the Gift of the Gods before, he noticed that it had a note. That is, as his experience increases or his strength increases, more functions will be unlocked. It seems that becoming rich is also a kind of strength increase. In any case, this new function makes Lin Yi's eyes light up. After trying the pleasure of using high-level skills to level up and kill instantly, Lin Yi actually felt a little bit uncomfortable every second waiting for the skill points to be issued. Now this function is simply a timely help. Spending money to buy skill points is now equivalent to spending money to buy time. As we all know, your time is very valuable. Krypton gold, cool. It seems that I have to put making money on the agenda in the future. Lin Yi did not hesitate and planned to spend all the money directly, leaving at most a small amount. Anyway, this money was earned by chance, and as his subsequent strength increases, it should only get easier and easier to earn more than 100,000. Lin Yi opened the talent interface and chose to spend Krypton gold to buy idle rewards. Do you want to spend 10,000 Daxia coins to purchase 24-hour skill point benefits? Lin Yi chose yes without hesitation. Ding! You have obtained the talent. 24-hour idle reward of the Gift of the Gods, 86,400 skill points. At the same time, the mobile phone in Lin Yi's pocket also vibrated. It prompted that 10,000 Daxia coins were deducted from his card. Continue. Ding. You have obtained the talent. 24-hour idle reward of the gift of the gods. 86,400 skill points. Ding. You have obtained the talent. 24-hour idle reward of the gift of the gods. 86,400 skill points. Ding. You have obtained the talent. 24-hour idle reward of the gift of the gods. 86,400 skill points. Comma. Lin Yi didn't know how many times he clicked. He stopped until the prompt said that the balance was insufficient. Like many garbage idle mobile games, the option of spending resources to purchase idle rewards will continue to increase in price. The first time was 10,000 Daxia coins. The second time, it will be 15,000. The subsequent increase is even more severe. Lin Yi flipped through the records and bought it for the last time. He even spent more than 40,000 Daxia coins directly. Hiss. Lin Yi didn't feel heartbroken before. He felt it was worth it to speed up the process of upgrading his skills. But when he really saw his 6-digit bank card balance, it turned into 3 digits at the speed of light. He still felt heartbroken. I'm back, that familiar poor life. Lin Yi could only turn to open his personal panel. Fortunately, the skill point balance column gave him great comfort. Currently allocable skill points, 425821. There are more than 400,000 balances again. Lin Yi opened his skill page again. It takes 500,000 skill points to upgrade the 7th level Sky Flame Dragon Breath to the 8th level, which is obviously not enough now. And Lin Yi currently thinks that the 7th level Sky Flame Dragon Breath is enough, and now these skill points should be added to the blade. Lin Yi opened the wind skill wind blade that he had just learned yesterday. In the point adding interface, he started the familiar operation again. Click, 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 click. Then the reminder sound of ding 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 came in his mind. Consume 500 skill points, your wind blade skill is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Wind Break. Consume 2000 skill points, your wind break is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Wind 9 Blades. Consume 5000 skill points, your Wind 9 Blades is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Storm Cyclone. Consume 10,000 skill points, your Storm Cyclone is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Wind Wings. Consume 50,000 skill points, your Wind Wings is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Swift Wind Flash. Consume 100,000 skill points, your Swift Wind Flash is upgraded, and you get a new spell, Shocking Thousand Storms. In less than half a day, Lin Yi's wind skill set has expanded from 1 to 7. And Lin Yi looked through these skills. Suddenly, I felt that all the magic of the wind system has very obvious characteristics. If the fire system is simply high damage, then the wind system has speed, multi-stage attacks, a small amount of control and some auxiliary capabilities. The most obvious is speed and multi-stage attacks. The 3rd level fire system spell is called Triple Flame Spear. It is to summon 3 long spears condensed by flames from the sky to pierce and burn the enemy. The damage level is already high among the fire magic that Lin Yi has mastered so far, with 3 levels. And the 7th level spell Sky Flame Dragon Breath actually only has the high damage of the Dragon Breath and the subsequent long-lasting burning damage. But the 3rd level wind spell, Gale 9 Slashes, fires 9 extremely fast wind blades in 0.5 seconds. Finally, the 7th level Jingtao Qinlan Po can inflict thousands of attacks on targets within the affected range every second. However, what surprised Lin Yi the most were the 2 new skills of the 5th and 6th levels. Gale Wings. Type. Active skill. Level. 5th level. Class. Wind. Consumption. 500 mana, second. Singing time. 1.5 seconds. Cooling time. 5 minutes. Effect. Gather the power of wind elements to wrap your body, making it impossible for others to see through your true image. The wind element will also form a pair of wind wings, giving you the ability to fly at high speeds. At the same time, the wind group surrounding you will block 3 long-range attacks for you. Note that the attack intensity that the wind group can block cannot exceed level 4, and after 3 blocking effects are used, the flying ability disappears. Remarks. The strong winds are gathering, asking me to ascend to the clouds. Flying skills. The flying skill that Lin Yi longed for. As a human being, who doesn't have a dream to fly into the sky? Unexpectedly, wind magic actually has such a spell that allows the mage to fly in the sky without the help of flying pets. However, the threshold for level 5 is still quite high. But it's been great. For other professions, I heard that you have to reach at least level 6 before this profession skill will provide flying ability accordingly. As for another effect attached to this skill, Lin Yi also felt familiar. Blocks ranged attacks. Isn't this Brother Suo Z's wind wall? Face the blast. As for the 6th level skill Flash of Swift Wind, it is more like a swordsman. Flash of Swift Wind. Type. Active skills. Level 6. Department. Wind system. Consumption. 15,000 mana. Singing time. Instant. Cooling time. 1 hour. Requires melee weapons. Effect. Use the violent wind element to strengthen your own speed and the attack speed of melee weapons to the extreme, and suddenly perform a very fast sprint attack in one direction. During sprinting, your dodge probability increases by 100%. After the sprint is over, you will cause 99 melee weapon attack damage to all targets on the sprint path, and each damage will be additionally added with 1 wind attribute cutting damage. Maximum sprint distance. 10 meters. Maximum sprint speed. 10 times the speed of sound. Note, watch carefully, this knife will be very handsome. The moment Lin Yi saw this skill, he felt that it was definitely a cool and stylish skill. Just like the countless animations he had watched in his previous life. A swordsman who pursues speed all his life. He drew his sword and rushed forward, and before the enemy could react, he had already slashed more than a dozen times. Then he sheathed the sword. The enemy behind him slowly fell down. It was really cool. Why is this skill in the mage's skill set? I am a mage, and I have to wear a melee weapon to use this skill. Although the staff is also a melee weapon. But if you let me use the staff to hit the opponent nearly 100 times, it would be very inconsistent. Lin Yi was walking and looking at his new skills. At this moment, he just came to the city center of Zhongcheng. Here are the most critical functional departments of the entire Zhongcheng city. Lin Yi saw the most imposing building with the largest flow of people, with 5 big words written on it, Daxia Trading House. Like Daxia Bank, Daxia Trading House is also a state-owned functional department supported by Daxia officials. The trading chain covers the entire Daxia. However, Zhongcheng is only a level 5 base city. It cannot be said that the branch in such a small place has no connection with the headquarters. It can only be said that there is almost no connection. The circulating goods and prices are basically regulated by Zhongcheng itself. Walking into the door of the trading house and passing through the bustling crowd, Lin Yi came to a self-service trading window. Since the Cataclysm era, the development of spiritual crystal technology in various countries on Blue Star has been very mature. The self-service trading window in the trading house is the culmination of all. There is no one at each self-service window, only the blue spiritual crystal suspended in the air, just like when Lin Yi participated in the job transfer ceremony. This is the first time Lin Yi has come here. He looked at how others operated it, and soon understood how to use the thing in front of him. This spiritual crystal, as long as you touch it, will pop up the full system screen. Then operate on the screen. Whether selling or buying, the small teleportation array on the trading counter can deliver your goods instantly. Lin Yi just felt novel. Online shopping orders, light speed delivery, and on-the-spot delivery, it was really awesome. Lin Yi put all the junk black iron equipment dropped by the Howling Forest Tiger King and its tiger children and grandchildren under the spirit crystal and scanned them. Soon the spirit crystal gave an estimate. Lin Yi had calculated well before. These equipments could not be sold for much money in the trading house, which was a national benchmark recycling price. Fortunately, after a sky flame dragon breath, there were still more than a dozen pieces of equipment. After selling more than a dozen black iron equipments, Lin Yi's card had more than 10,000 Daxia coins. Then Lin Yi sold all the materials dropped by the monsters in the portable space when he was leveling up before. The most valuable ones were 1 or 2 special materials dropped by the Tiger King. The spirit crystal gave an estimate of 2 to 3,000. The others were basically small amounts. Finally, Lin Yi emptied his backpack, and the balance in his card increased from a few dozen yuan to more than 20,000 yuan. This money was not enough to buy another 24-hour idle skill point reward. Lin Yi planned to see if he could find any good things in the trading house. He searched for the skill books of the mage department. Sure enough, there was none. Lin Yi thought for a moment and soon understood. On the one hand, the drop rate of skill books in low-level areas is too low, and Zhongcheng is a super border town with a small total amount of goods. This also proves how lucky Lin Yi was to kill the Tiger King yesterday and drop a skill book. On the other hand, even if it is shipped, many people are unwilling to come to the trading house to sell such things. Just like the wind spirit rock marrow that Lin Yi obtained, it was finally sold to a store specializing in recycling and selling this business. Other professionals, even if they brush out a skill book that they can't use, they must want to sell it for a good price. I really want to buy a professional skill book. I still have to go to the skill book store under the professional guild. There are no skills for the wizard. Then, are there any general skill books? Lin Yi tapped his finger on the spiritual crystal screen and turned on the filter mode. Remove the filter option for the wizard profession. Press the search button again. Soon, rows of skill books appeared in front of him. Primary identification technique. Primary price. 18,992 Great Sha Coins book. Lin Yi flipped through the books. He found that there was only one general skill book. And behind these skill books, there is also information about the manufacturer. It seems that this kind of general skills are not dropped by monsters, but they are made by other life professionals of the enchantment and scroll systems. However, the most common primary identification skill book is close to 20,000 yuan, which is also extremely expensive. So how expensive would my wizard's skill book be? Lin Yi had a toothache. Originally, I sold the wind spirit rock marrow today, and I felt that I was a rich guy. I didn't expect that I was overthinking. But even if it's expensive, I have to buy it. If it wasn't for the fact that the wind spirit rock marrow would emit emerald green fluorescence in the dark, I might have missed such a treasure. With the identification technique, at least he wouldn't be unaware of the treasure when he saw it. Especially this elementary identification technique, it's not elementary in his hands. Now there are still hundreds of thousands of skill points to fill it, guaranteeing that it will have no childhood. Advance to the advanced level immediately. Lin Yi gritted his teeth and bought this identification skill book. The next moment, the phone in his pocket vibrated, and Lin Yi didn't even need to look at it. He knew that it was Daxia Bank notifying him that he had become poor again. At the same time, the teleportation array below the spirit crystal in front of Lin Yi lit up, and more than 10 seconds later, a gray scroll appeared in the center of the array. Lin Yi picked up the scroll. Checked the properties. That's right, it's the identification skill book. There was no hesitation at the moment, and he chose to learn directly. Ding. Skill book. Primary identification technique was used successfully, and you got a new skill, identification technique primary. Next, Lin Yi naturally didn't think much. Hundreds of thousands of skill points were smashed down. After a series of ding ding ding, Lin Yi received an unprecedented prompt. Ding. You spent 120,000 skill points, your identification skill Grandmaster level was upgraded, and you got a new spell, identification skill peak. Ding. Congratulations. You are the first person in the entire Blue Star to upgrade the identification skill to the peak level, and you have obtained a unique reward. Your identification skill peak has transformed into a new skill, Eye of All Seeing. Lin Yi was stunned. What the hell? There is such a thing. I am the first person in the entire Blue Star to upgrade the identification skill to this level. Thousands of years after the Cataclysm era, no one has taken the lead in grabbing this unique reward. Lin Yi has seen the so-called unique reward in textbooks. In simple terms, it is similar to the achievement system in games. Once someone has achieved an unprecedented achievement, it will trigger the unique reward of the Heavenly Tao. Lin Yi was somewhat happy. There are tens of billions of people on Blue Star. He is one in a billion. No, from a history spanning thousands of years, he may be one in a trillion. Lin Yi soon understood why no one in the past would choose to upgrade the identification skill to the maximum level, that is, the pinnacle of perfection. Because there is no cost-effectiveness. Most professionals learn the identification skill to see the attributes and strength of monsters of the same level as themselves, and to see the attributes of natural treasures. There is absolutely no need to upgrade to a high level to cross levels to understand monsters that you cannot defeat. And, although the skill points consumed by upgrading a general skill such as identification skill are only about a quarter of that of professional skills. But who would be willing to take out this quarter of precious skill points, not adding professional skills, but adding an identification skill? After understanding this, Lin Yi quickly opened his skill bar. Check this new skill that evolved from the identification skill. Eye of All-Knowing. Unique. Skill level. 9th level. Type. Passive general skill. Consumption. None. Chant. None. Cooling down. None. Effect. When you stare at a target for more than 3 seconds, you will ignore the level difference between you and the target, ignore all the hypocrisy, concealment, and hiding effects of the target, and get all the information of the target. When the target you stare at is a spiritual object or an equipment item that has not been successfully identified, after the identification is successful, you have a 10% chance to improve the quality of the spiritual object or equipment by 1 level. Remarks. Insight into everything and experience the universe. Lin Yi was a little shocked. The awesomeness of this skill has exceeded his imagination. And this should be considered his first 9th level skill. It can be said that after possessing this skill, everything in the world must be the most real side in Lin Yi's eyes. Not to mention, this passive skill also has the ability to break illusions and counter hidden. Too amazing. Lin Yi focused his eyes on a professional passing by. 3 seconds later, all the information about this person was completely exposed to Lin Yi. Occupation, level, skills, equipment, health, and current status. Even his weaknesses were all clear. Retracting his gaze, Lin Yi calmed down his somewhat excited mood. Walked out of the trading house. The harvest of this trip was too rich. The only thing left to do was to take the job transfer task. Daxia Trading House and the Job Transfer Sanctuary are very close, almost just a street away. Lin Yi went straight to the Job Transfer Sanctuary not far away. As soon as he entered the door, a girl came up and greeted Lin Yi warmly. "Hello, professional, how can I help you?" The person who received Lin Yi was a black-haired girl with glasses. She smiled warmly, with her hands behind her back, very well behaved. In fact, she had noticed this handsome guy when Lin Yi just walked into the gate of the sanctuary. There are many professionals coming and going, but handsome guys are rare species. It's not easy to see one, and he's so handsome, so of course I have to come up and chat with him. Lin Yi, I want to accept the second job transfer task. The glasses girl continued to smile, pushed a few hairs on her forehead behind her ears, and continued, then please show me your professional ID card. I just changed my job and haven't applied for a formal professional certificate yet. Is a student ID okay? The glasses girl was a little surprised. Ah, you mean, you are a new professional who just changed your job successfully a week ago? Lin Yi nodded. The glasses girl was even more shocked. She had never seen anyone who could meet the second job transfer requirements within just 1 week of changing jobs. Her expression was a little uncontrollable. Have you reached level 30? Lin Yi nodded again. The glasses girl took a deep breath and was secretly surprised. It seems that this handsome guy in front of him has an extremely terrifying family background. Although she has never seen a local professional who can be transferred to the second level so quickly in the small city of Zhongcheng, in other larger base cities, especially in some families with extremely deep foundations, it is still possible to rely on resources to pile up the younger generation of the family to level 30 in a very short time. Unexpectedly, this handsome guy in front of him is not only handsome, but also has such a terrifying family background. Unconsciously, the glasses girl stood closer to Lin Yi. Of course, Lin Yi didn't know that the girl in front of him had already made up so many things in his mind. He just wanted to take the task quickly and complete it. Lin Yi took out his student ID. This can prove that he is indeed a professional. Okay, I will help you with the registration procedures right away. Soon, the glasses girl completed the procedures and guided Lin Yi to one of the rooms in the job transfer sanctuary. Walking into the room, Lin Yi saw a blue spirit crystal stone floating in the air again. It was the same as what he saw when he first awakened his profession in school. Touch the spirit crystal again. Lin Yi received a system prompt. Ding. Checking the professional level. Current professional level. Level 30, has reached the professional second job transfer acceptance conditions. Start drawing job transfer tasks. Ding. You have received an S-level job transfer task. The Death Knight must die. Task requirements. Please kill the LV.60 world boss, Death Knight Rivendell, in a team of 3 or less, and obtain the quest item, Heart of the Dead. After seeing the details of the task requirements, Lin Yi was stunned. It's not that he thinks this task is too difficult, but he thinks it's a bit too simple. Is this the S-level difficulty? A level 60 boss, this level is not even as high as the Molten Flame demon he summoned. Even if it is a boss, it should die after a Sky Flame Dragon breath bombards it, right? If it doesn't die, make up a few more. This task requirement even allows him to form a team of 3. This is too lenient. I'm crying. If Lin Yi's idea is known to others, they will probably have a lot of complaints. Because if they receive a task of this difficulty, they will probably cry bitterly. It may even be impossible to retransform in this life. World bosses are all famous for their high defense and thick blood. Because this kind of boss is directly refreshed in the leveling area, not in the dungeon. The boss in the dungeon will strictly limit the number of people, so the corresponding value will not be so abnormal. However, the health of the boss in the wild world is almost 10 times that of the dungeon boss of the same level. Because basically this kind of boss will be surrounded and beaten by hundreds of people after it is refreshed. So except for Lin Yi, if any unlucky guy really receives this kind of S-level task, his career path may really end here. Because the job transfer tasks are randomly issued, there is no chance to come again. After accepting the task, Lin Yi walked out of the room. The bespectacled lady who had received Lin Yi before asked with a smile, "Mr. Lin, is the task you received difficult?" Lin Yi shook his head. "It's just so-so." The bespectacled lady clapped her hands. "Yeah, then I have to congratulate you first. If it's a simple task, you should be able to successfully complete the second job. What is the task goal? Don't look at me like this, I am the most experienced employee in the entire job transfer sanctuary. I know how to complete many of the task requirements of third job transfer professionals." To be honest, Lin Yi also noticed that this girl had some unreasonable enthusiasm. As a person in 2 lifetimes, Lin Yi was still very cautious and did not tell the details of his mission directly and easily. He just said lightly, "No need." Lin Yi left the job transfer hall. The girl with glasses was a little sad. Alas, how come such a handsome guy seems to have such a cold personality? Lin Yi walked out of the job transfer sanctuary. Go straight to the information library of the Zhongcheng Professionals Alliance Guild. With the help of the spiritual crystals in the library, Lin Yi quickly found out the relevant information about this boss. The southern suburbs of Kanglan City experienced a terrible plague hundreds of years ago. Thousands of people died at that time. Later, that area became a restricted area where viruses and plagues raged. A large number of infected creatures and undead creatures are wandering in that area, but there is no breath of living people, so it is called the place of death. The necromancer knight Rivendell, according to rumors, was once the knight commander sent by an empire to rescue the victims. Later, for unknown reasons, he degenerated into the necromancer knight. After every plague and acid rain, Rivendell will wake up from his grave, ride his skeletal horse, and wander forever in the core area of the Dead Lands. Lin Yi read this and learned some basic information about this boss. The boss level is the same as described in the mission objective. Level 60. And the refresh point is in a leveling area called the Deadly Land in the southern suburbs of Kanglan City. Lin Yi entered the words, "Land of Death," on the spiritual crystal light screen. The results came quickly. The location is indeed in the southern suburbs of Kanglan City, and the monster level is between level 40 and 50. Suitable for leveling up for second-level professionals. What about refresh time? All wild boss have fixed refresh rules. Fortunately, Kanglan is not far from Zhongcheng, and the last kill record of the Necromancer Knight can also be retrieved here. World Boss, Death Knight Rivendell. Refresh time, 30 days. Last kill record, 9 o'clock on March 15, 2024. Lin Yi looked at the current time and his expression changed. Grass. The last killing time was exactly a month ago at this time. This means that it is refreshed now. This kind of world boss will be beaten by countless professionals, and it is also in the pocket of many big guilds. Many times, those guilds and organizations will set up bosses. Kill immediately as soon as it refreshes. If you miss it, you have to wait another month. Gone. Lin Yi didn't want to be stuck with this simple task and couldn't upgrade for a month. The next moment, Lin Yi hurriedly ran out of the archives and went straight to Zhongcheng's teleportation hall. In this era, there are only two types of transportation that civilians can take. One is to dig underground tunnels and provide high-speed underground rail transit between various base cities in Daxia. Basically, there won't be too many monsters and beasts underground. And it can be navigated underground, which can avoid many areas where monsters are densely populated. Security is guaranteed. It is precisely for this reason that most air traffic is extremely rare in Daxia. Even if it does appear, it is mostly military motherships or warships. Finally, the most convenient and fastest one is the teleportation array. Thanks to the dual blessing of spiritual crystal technology and magic, short-distance space transmission has long been popular among civilians, even though Zhongcheng is thousands of kilometers away from Kanglan City next door. Using the teleportation array, it only takes a few minutes. Lin Yi took out his mobile phone, bought a teleportation ticket to Kanglan City online, passed the security check, and went straight to the teleportation hall. Just like Lin Yi catching a train in his previous life, the number of people entering the teleportation array in each wave is also limited. And they all checked in droves. Lin Yi followed a group of people and stood in the teleportation array, and then the magic runes lit up. The center of the teleportation array emits a burst of suction force. The next moment, Lin Yi felt like the world was spinning, and he seemed to be sucked into some kind of time and space tunnel. The scenery around him was stretched into bizarre shapes and flew past his eyes. This experience is still very novel, and Lin Yi has a very good sense of balance. Even so, I only feel irritation and no other physical discomfort. But other passengers are different. When the teleportation was successful, Lin Yi arrived at the teleportation hall in Kanglan City. Most of the people with him were vomiting to the point of vomiting. Suddenly, the smell of the entire hall was hard to describe. Lin Yi left quickly. I will definitely not buy a regular ticket next time. At least buy a high-class ticket, not to mention the teleportation experience will be better, at least there will be fewer people, and he won't have to crowd with these people. Exited the teleportation hall of Kanglan City. Lin Yi clearly felt that Kanglan City, as a fourth-level base city, was more prosperous than Zhongcheng in all aspects. But Lin Yi had no time to pay attention to this. He remembered the location of the dead place that the girl with glasses told him before. The southern suburbs of Kanglan City. Wings of Wind is a fifth-level spell of the wind system, and the spells of the wind system have a very short singing time. But with the blessing of divine grace chant, for Lin Yi, all fifth-level spells were instantaneous. Therefore, Lin Yi did not hesitate and used the instantaneous wind wings. The next moment, a strong wind suddenly blew at the door of the teleportation hall. Countless pedestrians exclaimed. The next moment, a pale green wind group surrounded Lin Yi, making him blurred in a shadow of the wind. Others could not see clearly, only an outline could be seen. Countless guards stationed in the teleportation hall and the job transfer sanctuary in Kanglan City saw this scene and all picked up their weapons. Some people even shouted loudly. Lin Yi remembered at this time. He seemed to have made a mistake. In the non-leveling areas of all base cities in Daxia, it is not allowed to use skills and magic. Fighting and brawling will be arrested. Fortunately, his skill can hide his identity. However, in order to complete the task before the Death Knight burps, Lin Yi can't care so much. The next moment, a pair of wind wings appeared behind Lin Yi. Lin Yi's mind moved, and he felt that his weight was completely offset to almost nothing under the wrapping of the wind element. He broke free from the shackles of gravity. The wind rose and went straight into the sky. Flying by yourself and flying in the sky with the help of transportation are completely different experiences. It's really cool, especially the feeling of being able to fly at high speed between heaven and earth without obstacles. Lin Yi was excited in a second. He kept accelerating, trying to speed up to the limit. In an instant, the whole person turned into a stream of emerald green light and headed straight for the southern suburbs of Kanglan. Mom, look, someone is flying. In the bustling crowd below, countless children pointed at the figure in the sky that was as fast as the wind, clapping their hands and exclaimed. Wherever Lin Yi passed, he attracted the exclamations and envy of countless pedestrians. The Kanglan City security maintenance professionals who had just planned to arrest Lin Yi were all stunned. Sixth turn boss. They just wanted to make trouble for a sixth-turn boss. The Daxia Public Security Management Law stipulates that professionals are not allowed to fly and use skills within the base city. However, for the real big guys, even if they did this, the small fry who were in charge of public security would not dare to say anything. Of course Lin Yi didn't know about his woohoo takeoff operation. How many people in Kanglan City were shocked? Soon, he flew to the high altitude of Kanglan City, with a wide view above. The entire Kanglan City has a panoramic view, and the appearance of the surrounding leveling area is also clearly visible. Lin Yi could see hundreds of kilometers away in the southern suburbs of Kanglan City at a glance. That area was bare and exuded a dark atmosphere. That should be the place of death. Lin Yi controlled the wind wings and began to fly towards the land of death at full speed. At the same time, in the land of death and silence. The entire dead silent place is not dead silent at the moment. A large number of professionals seemed to be approaching the central area like sharks smelling the smell of blood. That is the refresh point of the world boss, the Death Knight. However, they still encountered many obstacles. Thunder Guild has reserved the venue. Please stay out of the way if you are idle. The Shanghai Guild restricted area ahead, please leave immediately. Countless professionals wearing the uniforms of various guilds stopped any idle professionals who dared to approach the central area and stopped them on the spot, not letting them get any closer. Your family owns the world boss. Yes, why don't you let us in? The guild member responsible for blocking had a sinister smile on his face. That's right, it's run by our Thunder Guild. Do you dare to come over and give it a try? Faced with such outrageous and unreasonable behavior, countless professionals dare to be angry but dare not speak out. Thunder and Shanghai are the two major professional guilds in Kanglan City. These two guilds often demarcate areas in popular leveling areas. It only provides leveling for members of your own guild, regardless of whether other professionals can continue to level up. Some people have tried to resist. However, the leaders of both guilds are powerful professionals of rank 4 and close to rank 5. And the people under their command are elite soldiers and generals, with a large number of people. So this situation continues to this day. Now is the critical time for the Necromancer Knight to refresh, so the two guilds naturally plan to share all the experience and drops equally. Boom, boom. Suddenly, the center area of the surrounding line was surrounded, and there was a roar of countless skill collisions. Everybody knows. This is the refresh of the Necromancer Knight Rivendell. The elites of Thunder and Star Sea Guild have already begun to kill the boss. But this time, the situation seems to be a little different. Because the sound of those skills colliding soon stopped. Then, black plagues exuding a strong aura of death began to spread throughout the dead land. For a moment, the professionals from the two guilds who were responsible for guarding the perimeter and restricting other professionals from entering changed their expressions. They received messages from their own guild members asking for help in the guild channel. The situation is not right. The boss is asking for help. Let's get there quickly. In an instant, everyone from the two guilds went straight to the central area of the deadly land. The professionals who were driven to the periphery by them all looked happy. Followed it wholeheartedly. There is one biggest difference between world boss and instance boss. That is the experience points and skill point rewards after a kill, which are distributed based on the kill contribution. The more output you contribute in killing the world boss, the more skill points and experience points you will share equally. In other words, the dropped items will depend on who gives the final blow. Everyone rushed to the center of the dead place. The sight before their eyes made everyone feel that their throats were firmly grasped by a big hand called death, and they did not dare to make any sound. Countless professionals wearing the uniforms of the Star Sea and Thunder Guilds maintained their posture of running away, lying on the ground where the black water of the plague was flowing. Their weapons were broken, their faces were in pain, and they died with their eyes open. He obviously suffered unimaginable torture before his death. President, boss, members of the two guilds responsible for guarding the perimeter even saw their own guild leaders among the pile of corpses. This made them even more unbelievable. It's just a level 90 world boss. They have killed dozens of times. How so? The group was wiped out. Before they could think about it, the next moment, the sound of heavy horse hooves hitting the ground came. They saw the culprit responsible for this scene. A heavily armored knight wearing a jet black armor, holding a giant sword that was 4 to 5 meters long, was riding on a skeletal horse with no trace of flesh visible. On the heads of the war horses and knights, blue will-o-wisps flickered in the empty eye sockets. The undead knight Rivendell has become more than 10 times larger than usual. Everywhere he passed, the place was smeared with dark plague water. Run. He seems to be alienated. Everyone felt the trembling from their souls. According to rumors, both the world boss and the dungeon boss have a very low probability of being affected by the power of the abyss and turning on the alienated state. In this state, the level and skills corresponding to the boss will receive extremely terrifying increases. Many bosses that were originally only level 30 or 40 may reach level 200 in the end, eventually leading to the destruction of the team, or even the destruction of the mission. Run away. Run. Everyone only had this thought. At this moment, the identities of hunter and prey were transformed. The Death Knight who had died countless times under their swords and magic. The dead returned from the grave. The Death Knight Rivendell pulled the reins of his warhorse. The next moment, the skeleton warhorse neighed and stomped its forehooves, and the next moment, the undead magic wave spread. The originally dry soil under the feet of countless people was instantly submerged by the endless black plague water. In the black water, it seemed that countless dead stretched out their bone claws and grabbed the ankles of all the professionals who wanted to escape. They fell into the quagmire of death and could no longer move a bit. And as the black water rippled, a scene that made their scalps numb appeared. They saw the corpses lying on the ground in all directions. At this moment, the body was infused with the power of the dead. They stood up again, picked up the broken sword and chanted the familiar magic spell. But this time, they fought for the Death Knight. The black fog covered the sky. The sky was filled with dark plague acid rain, and the breath of death was extremely strong. Everyone fell into despair. They wailed and cried. But they could not make any sound. The rain curtain covered everything, and the dead land was about to return to dead silence. Yin. Just when everyone was about to be dragged into the black water and drowned completely, they suddenly heard an extremely loud dragon roar in their ears. The next moment, the extremely hot feeling completely dispelled the chill of death. The black fog in the sky and the rain curtain stopped one after another. The next moment, the bright orange-yellow flames completely tore the black fog apart. Dragon. A terrifying dragon burning fiercely and emitting endless heat appeared in the sky. The dragon breath spewed from its mouth fell like a waterfall. The Death Knight Rivendell raised his head. In those pupils that were like ghostly fire, there was a reflection of a human figure obscured by the endless gale behind the giant fire dragon above the sky. Sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. The plague black water wrapped around the ankles of all the professionals. Under the scorching heat of the dragon's breath, it turned into black gas at the speed of light. It drifted in the air and disappeared. Everyone regained their freedom. They also saw the figure flying high in the sky, like a god. That's right, in their eyes, the person who can use such terrifying magic to instantly dispel all plagues and haze is already their savior. High in the sky, Lin Yi let out a long sigh. I accelerated all the way, catching up. Fortunately, I caught up. This Death Knight, fortunately, is not dead. The moment Lin Yi saw the Death Knight Rivendell, he didn't think much. He directly smashed down with an instant sky flame dragon breath. He was very afraid that the professionals who were beating the boss below would snatch this head. If you want to talk about which skill of his currently has the highest damage, it is undoubtedly the sky flame dragon breath. Moreover, this skill is very straightforward, without any dragging attack pre-swing. It is just an ordinary dragon breath. It caused a devastating blow. In addition, Lin Yi is not a murderer. His current control over the fire element can even make the sky flame dragon breath destroy all monsters. But it will not hurt those professionals at all. This is why the group of thousands of professionals who fell into despair did not even get hurt under such a terrifying 7th level dragon breath. After the dragon breath, Lin Yi narrowed his eyes slightly. Not dead, not even much blood loss. This boss is something. Lin Yi was a little surprised. He had thought before that a sky flame dragon breath might not kill the Death Knight. But at least it could hit half of the blood, right? Now it seems that even if he releases a few more sky flame dragon breaths, it won't work. Lin Yi stared at the Death Knight Rivendell. under the influence of the eye of all-seeing. Soon his information appeared in front of Lin Yi. Dead Knight Rivendell alienation. Level LV.200. Rank King. Race Undead. Health 9.97 million 10 million. Mana 100,000 100,000. Strength 15,800. Spirit 8,000. Agility 8,000. Endurance 15,800. Active skills: Undead Army, Plague Wave, Undead Sky Slash, Death Grip, Charge, Corpse Explosion. Passive skills: Undead Will, Indestructible Body Alienation. Weakness: Holy Light Damage. Lin Yi was stunned. Level 200. Wasn't it said to be level 60? How did the level suddenly increase so much? Of course, Lin Yi also noticed the word alienation on the information panel. But he had never heard of it in the textbook before. What exactly is this mechanism? Well, does it mean an enhanced version of the boss? However, a Sky Flame Dragon breath only caused him 30,000 points of damage, which Lin Yi couldn't understand. Fortunately, with the all-seeing eyes, Lin Yi quickly found clues from the skills of the Death Knight. The problem lies in the passive skill Indestructible Body Alienation. Indestructible Body Alienation. Type: Passive skill. Level 7. Effect: the power of the abyss strengthens your body, giving you an extraordinary ability to withstand damage. All damage other than the Holy Light system you receive is reduced by 50%, and the maximum damage you can withstand at a time is 9,999 points. You recover 5,000 health points per second. This passive skill is a bit against the sky. The most terrifying thing is the single damage, which is less than 10,000 points at most. No wonder a Sky Flame Dragon breath fell down and only lost this little blood. Even the high single damage of Dragon Breath only caused 9,999 damage, and the subsequent blood loss was only burning damage. After seeing the explosive passive skill of Death Knight Rivendell, Lin Yi suddenly felt very fortunate. Fortunately, he upgraded the wind magic yesterday. Otherwise, he really couldn't do anything with this thing today. Sure enough, compared with strengthening a single system to the extreme, it is still more effective to improve combat power by taking this route of balanced development of multiple systems. Lin Yi used to dislike wind magic. Mainly, it's a bit scratchy. Take the most basic third-level spell for comparison. The 3 damages of the triple flame gun. In the absence of Lin Yi's current attributes and equipment, the basic damage has exceeded 10,000. But the 9 damages of the wind 9 blades are not even 5,000 points. Although it hits fast and hits a lot. But it's really too scratchy. But now the situation is different. When encountering a boss like the Death Knight Rivendell who can withstand a single high damage, the wind-type multi-stage attack is too valuable. A few minutes ago. Kanglan City. Professional Alliance Building. The hall is still in good order, and various professionals keep coming to consult and do business. But in the conference room, countless senior executives of the Professional Alliance of Kanglan City. At this moment, they are sweating profusely. Can't handle it. Absolutely can't handle it. From the data comparison of all the alienated world bosses in our Great Shah in the past 100 years, the level will generally increase by at least 3 times. That is to say, the level of the world boss in the Dead Silence Land is at least level 180. I have said long ago that once the only world boss around our Kanglan City is alienated, it will be a time bomb. I didn't expect it to come so quickly. All the participants looked ashen. At this moment, the big screen in the conference room was showing the completely alienated Death Knight. No one could come up with a crisis response plan. In the end, the president of the Kanglan City Professional Alliance, who was sitting in the main seat, made the final decision. I have sent a request for help to the headquarters of the Tianai Professional Alliance, which is directly under our jurisdiction. They sent a 6th turn professional, who is on the way. But it will take him 2 hours to get from Tianai to our Kanglan. In these 2 hours, we will complete the task of evacuating the people and resisting the undead army summoned by the alienated Death Knight. If it is not handled well, this will be a disaster for our Kanglan. The vice president is a bald man. He was stunned when he heard the president's decision to evacuate the people of Kanglan. But, President, sending an alarm now may make the people panic. If something happens again. The bald man didn't finish his words. He was rudely interrupted. If the plague and corruption of the land of death spread to our Kanglan, it will not be a matter of your official hat, but whether you and I will have to work on sewing machines for the rest of our lives. Are you really stupid, or do you want to improve too much? The old president on the main seat had a cold look in his eyes. The reprimand was merciless. It made Vice President Xie Ding lose face in front of everyone. Issue a Level 1 alert, and then notify the city defense forces to prepare to evacuate the people. Now, do it immediately. As the top leaders of Kanglan City made the decision to evacuate, the whole Kanglan City was filled with shrill alarms. Countless professionals received regional broadcasts. It was exactly the same as the molten flame demon summoned by Lin Yi in Zhongcheng before. They had no ability to deal with such high-level and high-ranking monsters. They could only wait for the arrival of the real strong men in the entire Dongjiang province. Crying, screaming, and the sound of countless people running in panic. In the originally peaceful and harmonious Kanglan City, everyone became nervous. Most of them had never seen such a big scene. Countless armed and fierce military professionals began to guide the masses to evacuate in an organized manner. When they encountered panicked or even disruptive professionals, they would even suppress them with thunder. No one knew what happened. They only knew that a disaster was coming. Look, the sky in the south. Oh my God, what is that? Among the people who hurriedly evacuated, some people found that the sky in the south was red for some reason and it was about to bleed. Even in the far distance that seemed to be burning, they saw the outline of some legendary creature. Dragon, a giant dragon of fire. The dragon exhaled hot breath, and the impact of the scene was directly pulled to the maximum. Not only the people were stunned, even the military professionals who were maintaining order were all stunned. They actually didn't know what had happened, but now, they could probably guess. Something must have happened in the southern suburbs of Kanglan City. Perhaps it was because of the fire dragon that they had to evacuate the people. Fortunately, the changes in the southern sky came and went quickly. Just when everyone was worried about whether their homes were invaded by some dragons, the fire dragon disappeared and the sky in the southern suburbs returned to normal. It was as if everything they had seen just now was an illusion. However, the next moment, the entire Kanglan City. The wind blew. There was no sign at all. The city, which was calm before, suddenly blew a fierce gale. The wind elements floating between heaven and earth all became manic. Some of the professionals in Kanglan City who had reached the 4th level of strength rode on their war pets and flew into the sky. They could see more things than ordinary people. In the southern suburbs of Kanglan City, it seemed as if a huge vacuum zone or a terrible storm cyclone appeared. All the air currents gathered there frantically. Woo woo woo. Many people's flying mounts trembled in the increasingly terrifying wind. The sky also darkened. It seemed that a storm that had been accumulated for a long time was about to fall completely. Above the dead land, Lin Yi was suspended in the center of the storm led by him. Lin Yi muttered something in his mouth. He was chanting the 7th level wind spell, Jingtao Qinlanpo. In fact, Lin Yi still had 2 instant casting opportunities. But now that he was protected by the wind group generated by the wings of the wind, the casting would not be interrupted and would not be attacked. He naturally wanted to see how long it would take for him to chant a 7th level spell completely. Even if the chanting was not completed. But a terrifying vision had already appeared in the sky. The sky was completely gloomy. The clouds were getting lower and lower, and a large amount of clouds were constantly rotating, forming a terrifying cloud wall that was as spectacular as a tsunami. Like water, air is actually a fluid. Under the influence of such dense wind elements, the nature of the atmosphere at this moment is like liquid. When this terrifying cloud wall completely fell, it was the end of Lin Yi's chanting. The howling wind disturbed the sleep of the dead. This behavior seemed to have completely angered the Death Knight Rivendell. He suddenly raised the Black Knight sword in his hand and pointed it directly at Lin Yi in the sky. From his throat, an extremely creepy roar came out. The next moment, the plague black water that had just been dried by the sky flame dragon breath returned like a wave. Once again, most of the area of the entire dead land was covered. Under the black water, countless limbs, bones, and rotten meat were constantly twisting and reorganizing. Thousands of undead creatures returned to the world under the summons of the Death Knight. This scene made thousands of professionals in Kanglan City who had planned to kill the world boss tremble. It was too dark. Lin Yi's eyes moved. Under the gaze of the all-knowing eye, Lin Yi knew that this was his skill, army of the dead. If he was allowed to continue to summon like this, all the dead who had been buried and died in this dead land would be pulled up by him and continue to fight for him as undead spirits. The more people died, the more undead soldiers he could transform. Not to mention, these undead soldiers could even inherit some of their strength and skills in their lifetime. By then, it is not impossible that the entire Kanglan city would become a purgatory on earth. Whoosh! The necromancer Rivendell swung the giant sword in his hand suddenly, and the black light broke through the air. A terrifying undead sword energy slash flew straight to Lin Yi in the sky. This is another of his signature skills. Undead Sky Slash. The power of the slash should be very terrifying. Lin Yi even heard the low humming sound of the air being torn apart by the slash. The wind group defense effect added by the 5th level swift wind wings could not resist such an attack. Moreover, Lin Yi's health was only a few hundred points at this moment. He came in a hurry, so he didn't have a younger brother like Molten Flame Demon to add a shield to him. However, Lin Yi was not panicked at all. Because, in his mouth, he spit out the last magic spell. Chant, done. Even if it is a 7th level magic, the characteristics of wind magic are still strong. That is the chanting time, which is at least about 1/3 less than that of Sky Flame Dragon Breath. Also under the passive influence of Divine Grace Chant, which shortens the singing time by 70%. It only took Lin Yi less than 10 seconds to read this 7th level spell. Howling wind, furious air currents. There was a moment of pause. This is the last calm before the terrifying storm. The next moment, above the 9 heavens, the cloud wall collapsed. Like a stormy wave crashing on the shore, carrying terrifying power, it fell from the sky. That terrifying undead air-piercing sword energy was instantly submerged in the violent wind in front of the crumbling cloud wall. In the blink of an eye, the power of the slash was completely worn away and annihilated. Disappear. Ignoring the professional standing on the ground, he raised his head. Seeing the sky seem to be falling, this extremely terrifying scene made my heart even more shocked and frightening. The necromancer is awesome. Their life and death actually depended on the boss's thoughts. But now compare. The mysterious boss in the sky is even more awesome. He waved his hand, and the sky fell to the earth. However, what shocked them even more was not just that. In the sky, there is a blurry figure under the wall of clouds. It seemed that he tapped the bottom with his finger again. Next moment, the wind force of the already terrifying storm more than doubled again. Countless people can't even open their eyes or breathe. And, above the sky, the extremely spectacular cloud walls show signs of overlapping. The first cloud wall has not yet fallen, detonating the terrifying power of Qian Lan's spell. Already, 2 more cloud walls formed instantly and were smashed down one after another. Such a high-level spell. That big shot could actually fire 3 shots in a row with just a wave of his hand. How strong is he? The brains of countless professionals have completely shut down. High in the air, Lin Yi had used up all the 3 instant opportunities he had saved for a day. In fact, Lin Yi is still a very cautious person. He was worried that a 7th level Jingtao Qinlan wouldn't be able to kill this level 200 boss. Then add 2 more. 3 consecutive 7th level spells were thrown down. There's no way you're still alive, right? What if you still don't die? Of course Lin Yi also thought of a way out. Still not dead, just moist. Anyway, if this boss is really so outrageous, he will definitely survive until he can save up a few more days of skill points and use higher level spells to deal with it. He can afford to wait. Moreover, others had to wait 10 years for revenge, but he waited 10 days and the forbidden curse could be added. Facts have proved that Lin Yi was overly worried. The wall of cloud crashed down. The violent wind blade that is bound by magic within the cloud wall slashes away and starts indiscriminately attacking all targets within the range of the skill. It was almost an extremely brief moment. The undead soldiers who had just been pulled up by the undead knight Rivendell had been attacked hundreds of times. The few bones and rotten flesh left on the body were completely smashed into dregs by the wind blade, leaving no trace left. Tisk tisk tisk. The modified necromancer Rivendell's defense is also very high. The wind blade cut against his thick armor, making an extremely intensive friction sound. The bad news is that even at the 7th level, Jingtao Qinlin broke the wind magic and still did not violate the ancestral law, and the damage was still very severe. Good news, but shave fast and lots. Lin Yi saw layers of dense damage numbers starting to appear above the head of the Necromancer Knight. These injury numbers are modest. Basically, it's 1 or 2,000, and if it's a critical hit, it's only 2 or 3,000. But the frequency of injuries is terrifying. Lin Yi only needed a little calculation to figure out that from the time the cloud wall fell down to the time when the power of the entire magic exploded, it actually took less than 15 seconds. But it caused no less than 4,000 attacks in total. It's just that the first Qinlin break has completely exploded, and the Death Knight, an alienated world boss with a blood volume of tens of millions, is completely disabled. There is less than 1/3 of the health bar left. However, the second and third stormy waves Qinlin broke through did not give him time to recover at all. Explodes one after another. This time, Lin Yi directly saw the blood volume of the undead knight Rivendell being emptied by the speed of light. Instant kill. If you really think about it, this guy still owes Lin Yi his life. Roar. Hiss. Rivendell's low roar before his death was full of unwillingness. The war horse under his crotch also whined, its bones completely falling apart, and being cut into ashes by countless wind blades. They met the same fate as those undead soldiers. Ding. Congratulations, you killed the alienated world boss, Rivendell, the Necromancer Knight, and gained 2.2 million experience points. An additional 1.5 million experience points will be awarded for the leapfrog kill. Ding. Congratulations, your output contribution rate reached 100% in the battle to kill the alienated world boss, Necromancer Rivendell. You obtained 2,000 bound skill points and 20 tradable skill point scrolls 5. Ding. Congratulations, you have obtained the special mission item, Heart of the Dead. Your job transfer mission, the Necromancer Knight Must Die, has been completed. Please return to the job transfer sanctuary to submit the task and complete the job transfer. 3 consecutive prompts sounded in Lin Yi's mind. It proved that this boss, who was so arrogant and energetic just now, was really defeated by him. Tisk. Lin Yi clicked his tongue. I obviously feel that the skill points given by this boss are so stingy. Just over 2,000. If Lin Yi's thoughts were known to others, he would probably burst into tears. Brother, 2,000 bound skill points and 100 tradable skill point scrolls are exclusive to one person. It's really cool and a lot, okay. Many people have to play dungeons for more than half a year to earn this amount of skill points. Lin Yi slowly descended from the sky. A boss of this level will drop a lot of good things after killing it, right? Sure enough, after Lin Yi landed, he found a large number of gleaming golden equipment where the Necromancer Knights had been standing. One of them even shone with platinum light. In addition, Lin Yi also saw 2 skill books falling to the ground. Another skill book dropped. Lin Yi had learned before that even if it was a world boss, the probability of dropping a skill book was very low. In other words, if you kill the alienated Necromancer Knight, the drop rate should be much higher. But he didn't expect that there would be 2 copies in one drop. In addition to equipment and skill books, Lin Yi also found that this product dropped a lot of materials that were very rare just by looking at their names. These materials should also be sold for a lot of money. Lin Yi picked up all the treasures on the ground. Then he looked around. The group of professionals that Lin Yi had noticed at high altitude before, under his deliberate control, were not injured under the influence of Jing Dao Qian Lan Po. But even if there is no injury, the continuous attack of the 7th level wind magic still made most people unable to withstand the brutal force, and they fainted due to difficulty breathing. Well, this is a relief. Otherwise, if these people were still awake now, seeing that he had taken all the rewards dropped by the Death Knight alone, they would inevitably be jealous. At that time, a series of bloody plots of killing and grabbing treasures would be involved. Now it is much easier. The mission is completed, the treasures are picked up, and there is no reason to stay here. The wings of the wind are used again. Lin Yi flew into the sky and his figure quickly disappeared. Just a few minutes after Lin Yi flew away, 2 streams of light flew from the horizon. One of them was wearing a full set of red armor, with a burly and strong figure, and his whole body was full of fighting spirit, which looked extraordinary. The other was wearing a light green robe, with white hair and beard, and looked quite immortal. What's going on? The red-armored strong man blocked his eyes with his arms. The fierce wind made it difficult for him to adapt to the environment in front of him. The sky and the earth were vast, and there was no trace of the alienated world boss. Chen Feng was completely confused. He was the 6th turn warrior who came to assist Kanglan City in dealing with the alienated boss. The old man beside him was one of the 3 strongest people in Tianai City, with a strength of 7 turns. It was easy for the 2 of them to deal with a boss that was close to level 200 after the alienation. However, Chen Feng never thought that they would fly at full speed. After arriving at the southern suburbs of Kanglan, not only did they not see the boss, but they saw a terrifying storm that was still raging. That's right, even if Lin Yi had left, and the main power of the spell Jingtao Qinlanpo had already erupted. But just like the permanent trauma of Tianyan Dragon Breath to the Howling Forest, 3 Jingtao Qinlanpo made this dead land no longer dead. It can be foreseen that if there is no external influence, from now on, this area will be hit by strong winds of level 10 or above all year round. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.